Tonight in the booth, my name's Tyler Dimmer, joined by always Will Tiller. And Will, tonight should be an interesting race as we embrace the Tricky Triangle here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series for the Alpha-1 Awareness 200.
Oh, yes, sir. From last week's race at Daytona, from the speed weeks we had at Daytona, and the chaos and the calamity we had at the end of that race where Robbie Richards was able to capture it in that 48 truck. I cannot wait for the start of this race here tonight at the Tricky Triangle.
As these drivers finish up their practice session, just a minute left in the practice, we're going to actually talk to a few of our drivers from last week's race, including our hard luck award winner from Blanchard's Towing and Recovery, Kyle Hess. Kyle led majority of the race. Kyle, you led all of stage one. You led the most laps last week. But at the end of the race, you got involved in the late race incident. You are our Blanchard's Towing and Recovery hard luck winner this week, or this past week technically. How are you looking to right the ship this week in Pocono?
Man, just hopefully finish the race. We'll try to get some stage points, but I'm going to try not to be so aggressive about trying to win these things. Yeah, stage points and playoff points can be important, but if you can win them, you just kind of move right on.
And Kyle, what can you tell the viewers watching at home about the Tricky Triangle here at Pocono Raceway? How is the track driving right now? What have you seen be some of the challenges? Do you think there's maybe a calamity corner for this race tonight?
Yeah, the track's really slick. It's pretty hot out here, so the corners are going to be kind of treacherous, especially on older tires. And if you get a group that's racing next to each other really close, aero can come into play because it can make your truck really tight and hard to turn off the corners, and especially off the turn two. Like if you get tight in there, you're gonna have to let off. If you don't let off, you're going into the wall.
Well, Kyle, I know the qualifying session has just opened up, so we'll let you get back to it. But again, I just wanted to, I guess it's kind of a bittersweet congratulations on the Blanchard's Towing Recovery Hard Luck Award winner. Hopefully you don't have to experience the same hard luck tonight. Good luck tonight, Kyle.
Man, that's just all part of racing, buddy. So let me get out here. I'm going to try to lay down a qualifying lap or two and see where I end up on the grid.
So, well, thanks again, Kyle.
Not a problem.
Well, speaking of Kyle, he said the track is really slick. What do you think are some of the challenges that may be facing these drivers other than maybe a slick track tonight here at Pocono?
Well, we talked about it off air before we came live here on the NASCAR 360 network. It's going to be tough to pass. You spoke about it there on the intro. You have 3 different corners modeled from 3 different tracks. You have different baking on each corner as well. So some opportunities that you might see on a corner are going to be different for the next corner. And those long straights, you might have that opportunity, but those corners are going to come up quick. So we spoke about how it's going to be very, very difficult to make those passes, make those positions on the grid here tonight. And I want to say, Tyler, not much emphasis goes into qualifying on a race-to-race basis, but I'd say here tonight at Pocono, you want to try to get a qualifying spot inside the top 10, because with only 80 laps here tonight, you want to make sure you're running on that lead path.
And you said it, Will. We did speak about this off air. The drivers in the Cup Series in real life and a lot of the other series in real life call this the road course oval because of those 3 different bankings. Turn 1, 14 degrees, turn 2, 8 degrees, and turn 3, 6 degrees of banking. Not a lot there to keep your truck towards that apex as you see Michael J. Boyd completing his first qualifying lap. We'll see where he goes on the grid. As you see, he's holding a little bit of a lower line there on 3. Some guys like to just do a sweeping turn 3. I know other drivers like myself like to diamond turn 3 and get a really big run off the corner. And Michael J. Boyd's first qualifying lap looks like he may have hit the wall, so that lap has been disallowed. So that's an unfortunate start already to Michael J. Boyd's evening. But important notes from practice session. We had a tie for the top practice time between Nathan Moeller in that 971 machine and Brady LaBeouf in that number 9 machine. They both ran a 54.687. Only 3 drivers broke the 54.7 second. Doug Neal with the 54.694 was the last one. There is some speed to be had, but that lap Brady ran was early in the session. The lap Nathan ran was late in the session, so interesting to see how the track has been changing throughout practice.
Yeah, and I had done an IndyCar race from this track earlier in the day, and one thing that I saw, Tyler, and maybe we'll see it here tonight, is actually two things. You know, some drivers are going to try to go a high side or low side on the corners, basically trying to find their opportunities on these different banking corners. One thing that I also noticed too, Brady, is that when you take these straights, or Tyler, when you take these straights, you kind of want to make sure you cut off the draft to the guy behind you. We saw a lot of weaving in the IndyCar race that I did earlier, a lot of slipstream braking, if you will. You know, it's going to be different because we're in these trucks here tonight, so it's going to be draft braking, if you will. You want to try to get that guy's draft, try to break off, because on these long straights, that's when the guy's going to try to catch that slingshot and try to engage it to go around you. So watch out for that here tonight if these drivers want to break that draft.
So you saw Kyle Hess run his second lap there, not better than his first, but right now he is P2 on the timesheet, that 54.806 on his first lap. Donnie Lyons running a 54.772. He is right now top of your leaderboard. But we're going to speak real quickly with a driver that I made a mistake last week, and I'm going to own to the mistake. Should have brought him in for his top 3 interview. I messed that up. I forgot. So we're going to bring in second place finisher from last week, Michael Allen. Michael, you put down a pretty competitive qualifying lap, currently sitting in 9th on the grid. Sorry again about last week's race result situation, but how are you feeling coming in this week to Pocono?
I think I'm feeling pretty good. I think the truck feels good. I hit my points and hopefully be there. If I can bring it home clean and at least get myself a top 10, maybe even a top 5, I'll be pretty happy with that.
Well, Michael, it is important to note, though, that not only did you finish second last week, but you're currently our points leader if you take away Robert Richards for his win last week at Daytona. So what's it like, even though it's super early, only one race, what is it like to have, that points lead already in hand? And are you looking to build upon that as the season goes on?
It feels pretty good that, I didn't know that. And now that you say that, it feels pretty good to know that I'm, going into this thing at the first race, coming out, being a points leader. Pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And I know it definitely takes a lot of weight off of your shoulders. You can go around, maybe be a little bit more aggressive with some strategy calls. I know it's really early in the season, but obviously with how we run, especially at Pocono here tonight, maybe a fuel mileage race at the end. Are you looking to be maybe a little bit more aggressive on the strategy call? Or are you kind of just going to run with everyone and just see if you have what it takes?
I think I'm going to run with everybody. I think it's definitely going to be fuel strategy. It's whoever makes that right call in the pits is going to win this race probably.
Well, Michael, we're going to let you get back to your team, but just want to say thanks for coming in and chatting with us, and hope you have another great solid race tonight. If you end up in the top 3, don't worry. I'll remember to pull you in properly this time.
Hey, thank you so much.
Thank you. That was Michael Allen, last week's second place finisher at Daytona. Now we're looking at qualifying lap for Cody Knott here from Madera, California. Cody's also a producer here on NASCAR 360 from time to time, and he's looking to get his truck towards the front. First lap is a 54.91. It looks like he will not improve on that second lap. Oh, he does, but just by the slightest margin, 54.909. So Cody Knott currently 7th on the grid.
Yeah, as we watch a few more drivers take the track here at Pocono. I was going to ask you again there, Tyler, as we're watching Brady. I just called you Brady a little while ago. Now Brady's on the screen right now. So the 9 truck, the admin here at the Nazareth 360 Racing Network, the Sim Racer Hub Truck Series here brought to you by Nazareth. The admin here, he raced really strong at Daytona. Unfortunately, was caught up there with all the chaos and calamity at the end of that race. What do you expect out of that 9 truck here tonight?
Well, he was the fastest in practice, but he's seeming to struggle a little bit here in qualifying. 55.076 with his first lap. Trying to get a good second lap here. Not going to hit that apex. That may hurt him a little bit there in turn 3. See if he can get some momentum down the front stretch. We'll see what his time is before we look and see if he's going to have to come from the back. And slight improvement, 55.036, but that's not enough to actually improve position. He'll still hold serve. And now he dropped to 15th, it looks like, on the grid. So a couple more drivers put in time. So we have a new pole setter with Nathan Maurer.
Yeah, and watching Nathan at the Daytona race last week, and from what I've seen Nathan in other series, we're going to see that truck be very, very competitive this year. Again, another truck. A lot of these trucks that you see here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, were the fastest in practice. They're going to be one of the fastest trucks in qualifying. We're just tied up in some chaos at the end of that Daytona race. A lot of these big names that we're going to watch out for here tonight were caught up in a lot of those late race accidents, which made way for the 48 truck to win. Not saying the 48 truck didn't have a great race per se, but there was a lot of other names. We call that a lot more that really ran stronger in that top of the pack that really showed out. And a lot of these names, Tyler, I think here tonight at Pocono, whether we have a big one like we had at Daytona, they're going to be the same names we call out here tonight.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see that throughout the year. There's going to be certain drivers who we're going to expect to run up front, but there clearly is a lot of depth of talent. Looking at Brian Shu, currently sitting 20th in qualifying. Really tough first lap. Really wide here off of 3 on this second. It's probably going to hurt his time significantly, but important to note, Nathan Maurer was fastest in practice, fastest in qualifying so far. Session just has over a minute left, but these drivers wrapping up most of their hot laps here at Pocono. I think we're going to see, like Michael and Kyle both alluded to, a fuel strategy race. Fuel window tonight, 26 to 30 laps, and we're going to go through the race breakdown right now for you for the Alpha-1 Awareness 200 here at Pocono. As we all know, after last week's broadcast, it is Alpha-1 Awareness Month here. So all support out to everyone suffering from Alpha-1. We stand with you and we support you, and hopefully you can enjoy a quality race tonight here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. But going through the stages, 20 laps for stage 1, 20 laps for stage 2, so out on lap 40, and then a 40-lap race to the end. So 80 laps total tonight. You get 4 sets of tires, 80% fuel capacity, so our fuel window is 26 to 30 laps, and we have a 20 incident DQ limit tonight. Qualifying still underway, but not much left here as we got just a few drivers. Probably see what any last second times. Looks like that is not going to happen. So it looks like your pole sitter is going to be the 971 machine of Nathan Maurer. Hopefully we can find him in here and get him in for a quick interview, the pole sitter. So just a solid lap there by Nathan. Just a small advantage over Donnie as we're going to get everyone gridded up here soon, but we're going to pull in Nathan for a quick chat. But, Will, what else are you looking forward to tonight's race?
What I'm looking forward to here tonight, Tyler, and you mentioned the corners, you mentioned the straights here, you mentioned the fast cars. What I'm looking for, you just broke it down. You got stage 1 of 20, stage 2 of 20. What I'm really looking at is that last 40 laps. We spoke about it before we went live here tonight. They're going to have to make a pit stop in those 40 laps. Whether it's going to be a tire battle or a fuel battle there towards the end, you're going to see some strategies being implemented to make sure they push the envelope a little bit or they play it a little bit coy there, those last 40 laps. We'll see which driver wants to take that gamble on those last 40, whether you pit early or pit late in that run, or if you have a caution flag, which driver is going to survive those last 40 laps.
And, taking patience with your tires is going to be a big deal tonight. So we're going to be joined by our Pulse Poppers Pole Award winner, Nathan Maurer. Nathan, top time in practice, top time in qualifying. How's it feel to be sitting on the pole here at Pocono?
I love this track. It's my home track, man. It's my favorite place to be. Camp here every year. Love this track. So just got to keep the tires underneath it during these long runs, and hopefully we can bring her home. I'm so close to getting the win last week. Got taken out. So try to rebound from that and come out here and come out of the top 3 at least.
Yeah, Nathan, you talked about trying to keep the tires underneath it. Are you seeing a significant amount of wear on that right rear because of how slick it has been from what I've seen in practice so far?
Yeah. I mean, the right rear does actually wear faster here than the right front, but according to my stint analyzer from practice, I had the fastest 10, 15, 20 lap average here. So try to take over what we did from practice and put it here onto the race trim truck now, and just let these other guys go around us and overdrive their cars and hopefully catch back up to them in the long run.
Well, Nathan, as everyone gets ready to grid up here, first pole for Brute Force Motorsports, that's got to feel good. Hopefully you can help your teammates get to the front. Hopefully maybe you'll be talking with us in Victory Lane at the end of the summer.
Hopefully, hey, when's the first stage break? Do you guys know? I don't even know that.
20 lap 20 will be your stage break. So.
All right, thanks, man. I appreciate it. You guys have a good night. Thanks for broadcasting us.
Glad to do it, and hopefully we'll see you at the end of this one.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Yes, sir.
And that was our very excited pole sitter, the local kid taking the pole, the Pulse Poppers Pole Award, Nathan Maurer. I mean, just a very solid lap from Nathan. But like he said, he's worried about tire wear, keeping the tires on.
Yeah, that's one of the things to watch out for here. But Tyler, if you want to start off with our pole sitter here on the official starting grid here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. This is race number 2 of the season.
Race number 2, our pole sitter front row, joined with Donnie Lyons in the number 2 spot, Elmez at 3, Full Carriage View 5, Justin White 6, Dan Hagen 7, Adam Newbert 8, Bill Hales 9, Cody Knott 10.
And we got Chris Blanchard in 12th, Nathan Smith in 11th right there. Going to scroll on next to the next page of that starting grid right there. Looking at around the 13th position after Chris Blanchard. We're looking at, just waiting for that page to change for me here. There we go. We're looking at Tim Hammond there starting at 13th. Mike Allen in 14th. Doug Neal in 15th. Brady LaBeouf right there as well. Travis Burtzer in 18th. Matthew Hutchison in 17th. Brian Chu in 20th. And Robert Richards in 19th.
And only off 21 is Tyler Thurman in 22. Brandon Brother. Brandon did run the most laps in practice. Maybe something to keep an eye on. Didn't qualify great, but maybe he'll have some long run speed in the end. Dan Matthews starting 23rd, Steve Burnett 24th, Sean Hamilton 25th, Brandon Bullock 26th. 27th will be Jonathan Wiley, ran up front most of Daytona. Surprised to see him back here on this one. 28th will be Charles Keller Jr., 29th will be Cody Sanderson, and 30th will be Jason Stevenson. We'll round out our field with 31st Tyler Daniels, 32nd Curtis Rogers, 33rd will be Zach Hartwick, 34th Torrey Thompson, Michael Boyd, 35th, first one out we saw, and then Ron Hunter and Peyton Aldridge rounding out the field in 36th, 37th. Respectfully, they did not post a qualifying lap.
Oh, and there we go. That's officially our starting grid here for race number 2. We are ready to get this on and popping here from Pocono. Looks like this is the last lap we're going to run here to warm those tires up, and then it's on and racing here once again, Tyler. And from the anxiety and from the chaos of Daytona, we go to the hills, the peaceful hills of Pocono here. We'll see if it's the same calamity, the same craziness we saw at Daytona here to start off this race. Got Nathan Maurer going to take us to the green flag here as we come around these corners right now. We broke it down to start off this broadcast about how these drivers are going to have to tackle this track here tonight. We're going to see which driver can be the last driver standing here in these hills of Pocono. And Tyler, I cannot wait for this green flag to drop.
And it will be an interesting race nonetheless because of how different these corners are. We've been alluded to all night by almost every driver. There is a concern about tire wear, but as we noted, stage 3, fuel concern is there as well. Pace truck, the iRacing pace truck, bringing the field around turn 3 for the final pace lap here. He'll make the hard left down this very interesting front straightaway with an early restart zone. Nathan Maurer here to lead your field to green, waiting for that Geico start zone. Barney the flagman giving the green flag, and they are off here at Pocono in the Alpha-1 Awareness 200 for the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. Maurer with an amazing start. He'll be clear of Raul Meza and Donnie Lyons entering turn 1.
You see right there a clean entry into that first set of corners right there. I actually talked to you, Tyler, before we came on the air here. How many official corners we have here at Pocono? You said there's officially 3, so it's a little bit different than what a normal oval race would be. This is the tricky triangle for a reason. Looks like Nathan Mao is going to take us down that slanted straight right there, going into the next set of corners. Looks like we already have some passing going on right there as Raul Meza is going to lose a spot on the racetrack right there. Now, Raul looks a little loose to start off this race.
Yeah, and that's going to be something, I think, a warmer track. The track should cool off throughout the day. It's about 4:30 in sim time, so should expect cooler track temperatures throughout the race. But right now, these drivers are trying to get as many spots as they can because once it gets single file, it's going to be extremely difficult to pass.
Yeah, we're officially 1 lap in the books right now as Nathan Mao is going to take us down into the first corner right now. Still our race leader on the racetrack right now as we already see a pass taking place for 4th place right behind us right there. Looks like Raul Meza is going to give up a spot right there. We're just about to go 3 wide there for just a minute. Not going to happen though as Nathan Mao is going to take us down the slanted straight.
Donnie Lyons tried to make a move there in turn 1, got really tight, and that allowed Justin White to get on through, as well as Kerry Tribune in that 7 machine, sporting a different look, nice gray and orange color scheme for Kerry Tribune in that 7 truck. Raul Meza is going to jump up to 4th, as it looks like Donnie Lyons is struggling a little bit. Maybe even seeing Adam Newbert trying to get a position here, maybe trying to take away 5th from Lyons.
Yeah, and you see right now still battling up there at the top of the grid. You see Raul Meza, though, still trying to hang on to position, getting a little sideways there as we're going to cross this line right now. Officially 3 laps in the books as it's getting a little hairy there off of the corner number 3 right there. Still Nathan Mao is going to take us down into corner number 1. Still our race leader right now there. Single file down in the first corner.
And it looks about 9 trucks single file out the front of this field. First battle for actual position is going to be back in 10th with Nathan Smith and Tim Hammond fighting for that 10 through 11 spot. Brady LaBeouf here in 12th. He's going to try to make a move and move up to 11th over Hammond. He's going to now fall in line behind Smith as we're looking at this battle back here around 10th through 12th. Now they're all single file, so there's not another side-by-side battle till about 15th on track. As you got Cody Knott on the outside, he is stuck in.
Yeah, this is a pretty dangerous pod of drivers right here. We're 3 wide. We're bouncing around each other. We're getting out of line as it gets very, very tight on the entry of corner right there. Tyler, this is not where you want to be on the racetrack. You don't want to be in this pod racing pod right back here at the back of the pack. Look at that shot right there down the stretch. It's very tense down there at the back of the pack.
And Cody Knott losing about 7 or 8 positions. But up front, we have a battle for second, it looks like, as Kerry Tribune and Justin White are side by side, sitting behind Nathan Maurer. They have caught back up to Nathan. Nathan had grown up to about second lead, but those 2nd through 4th trucks have decided to reel him in. Looks like Adam Mubert's trying to close the gap. 6th on back is a significant gap between the front 5.
Yeah, when we talked about the success that Kerry had at Daytona, through the clash races, through the dual races, even in the main event, all the way up until the very end, where Kerry was caught up in one of those unfortunate accidents at the very end of that race. But Kerry's coming in here tonight at Pocono with a lot of confidence, a lot of momentum here tonight. You know, it's not the same banks as Daytona, but it's Pocono. He knows his truck, he knows his speed, he knows what he can do on the simulator, and you see what he's doing here tonight. He's right up there, pushing just a little bit to try to make his move. You'll see that here tonight. He's a very patient race car driver here in this series, and you'll see it here tonight. He'll try to pick his moves. He'll make his opportunities. The most of his opportunities right now, he's about to lose a position to Raul Meza. He's going to try to the inside right there. But Kerry is going to be one of the strongest trucks here tonight, I believe.
Meza had to check up as he almost got into the side left rear quarter panel of Kerry Tribune. Adam Mubert's going to take the 4th position here coming into the tunnel turn. Nathan Maurer still leads Justin White and Kerry Tribune 1, 2, 3. There's about a 1.5 second gap between 5th and 6th of Adam Mubert and Dan Hagan, so a significant gap building. But now it looks like the front 3 might run away from 4th and 5th, unless Adam Mubert can close that gap quickly here in turn number 3.
Yeah, I think when they were running single file there, Tyler, for I'd say it was about 2 or 3 laps or so, right there, you see that perfect shot once again down that front stretch. You see how close they are, how tight they are as a single file line. Then you look past that 4th place position. They're very out of line. They're bobbing and weaving behind each other. They're 3 wide in some circumstances. But this top pack right here has just been linked to one another, single file line, almost like you're back in elementary school. It's a single file line to that cafeteria for lunch, and these guys want nothing to do with the rest of the field. They want to run their own race at the top of the pack.
There's a new person sitting in 6th position, and that is Brady LaBeouf's Nathan Maurer, her fastest lap in practice. He's going to lead the chase pack now, try and catch these front 5, and I think he may be able to put it together if he can get some help from behind. The driver who's sitting behind him doesn't try to pass him, pushes him down these big straightaways. I think they can bridge that gap to this front 5 as Maurer continues to lead. He's led every lap so far. He's looking to lead number 6 right here.
Now Tyler is going to cross this line right now on lap 7 here tonight, going down to the first corner. Again, Nathan Maurer is our race leader. If you're one of these cars in this pack of about 5, do you try to make a pass? Do you try to get aggressive with it? Or are you just content with running in the single file line?
I think they need to be wary about running too close entering these corners because it's going to get their truck tight sooner. They're going to wear on that right front a little bit more in this dirty air. If I'm one of these drivers not leading the line, so 2nd through 5th right now, I'm backing up my entry and trying to get a different exit to maybe get some momentum down these straightaways and looking for a pass, because the more trucks you're behind, the dirtier the air, the harder it's going to be to turn that truck, the more you're going to wear in that right front. As Kerry Tribune got a great run through 2 there on Justin White. He gives a shove to the back of that bumper. But they're going to stay single file, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like Raul Meza maybe starting to fall off of this group of 5 here.
Yeah, Raul is starting to lose pace a little bit. He's been trying to fight that truck since the green flag dropped there in that number 37. We saw him get loose there on the start. It's been a battle for him since that green flag flew. He's still holding on, though, on this lead pack, but as you mentioned, losing just a little bit of pace. So now Nathan Maurer is going to take us down into the corner of right now. So our race leader, And you're seeing it just a little bit here tonight, Tyler. You know, you saw White in that 28 sort of go to the corner panel of Maurer, kind of ease back. And then you saw Carey try to go to the corner panel of the 28 and then ease back a little bit. So it doesn't really look like they're trying to push the envelope too much.
No, and that's part of it. It's a long race, 80 laps. It's 20 laps longer than the real-life Truck Series race here at Pocono. They only run 150-mile races. We're here running the Alpha-1 Awareness 200 at Pocono, so 20 more laps. They're trying to buy their time. It's a long race ahead of them. No one's going to push the envelope this early. So you look at Justin White, maybe trying different lines, though. I think this is a chance for these drivers from 2nd to 5th to learn how to maybe make a pass or learn how to get a run that's good enough to make a pass and then back out of the pass and just stay on line, conserve fuel, conserve tires.
Yeah, I really think so as well. And this goes to what I was saying. You know, a lot of these names that we're going to call out tonight are probably going to be the most consistent drivers. We saw it at Daytona for about 85-90% of that race where the drivers that were out front stayed out front. They were the fastest trucks on the track. Of course, this is totally different from Daytona a week ago. But I feel like if these drivers can keep running this pace, working together as they are, they might not even be teammates up there. They're just okay with the pace that they're running with each other. These might be the trucks to watch out for at the end. Maybe not the 37 of Raul Meza because he is a little loose. Who knows? He might get that thing right here as this race goes on. But it looks like he's losing pace. Looks like he's a little loose on the track as well. A little slip sliding there on the start of the race. But you see right now, just this pod of drivers, just as you mentioned, Tyler, is just separating from the rest of the field. And the more laps that tick down, the further that gap's going to get.
And we have some crazy racing from about 12th on back. Nathan Smith got shoved into the wall for 1 last time. But right now we have 3 wide down the front straightaway. Ryan Chu, Michael Allen, and Brandon Bullock. 1, 2, 3 abreast here, coming towards 1. Someone's got to figure out where they're going to go. Someone has to lift this. It looks like Ryan Chu and Bullock will enter side by side. Michael Allen's going to be behind, but Bullock's going to slide up and just barely avoids Chu there. And there's some fantastic racing further back, but right now it's about 10 drivers up front, single file. This looks like a very good pass for Doug Neal. He takes advantage of Bullock getting super tight under Chu, and he'll take a spot there, move up to 22nd, maybe 21st.
Now, Tyler, I'll ask you, getting a little loose there coming up from the apron onto that straight. If you're around your teammates or you're around other trucks, do you get on the voice chat, do you get on the radio and start talking to other trucks and say, hey, we see what those leaders are doing running single file and they're running with a lot of pace. Do we start to link up as well? Do we start to run lines? You know, you find out where your teammates are as you're starting to see a few lines build at the top side of that track right there. Do you start to do that if you're in this back of the pack here, knowing that the top pack's running a lot faster than you?
I think if you're this far back in the pack, say about 10th through 25th, you have to make passes when you can, as quickly as you can, because you want to have better track position for restarts or for pit stops, because you can't be back in this pack because you're going to have no chance at the lead, no chance at a top 5, really almost no chance at a top 10, because 12th is a significant gap behind 11. Nathan Smith has a ways to catch up to Travis Bertzer. So I think if you're further back, you're focused on making passes right now. Maybe you're going to wear the tires a little bit more, but you have a stage break coming up soon in about 9 to 10 laps. So make your passes now, get some track position, and then maybe try something during the stage break to get yourself further forward so you can have a better chance in the long run here.
Yeah, as we're watching the number 8 truck right there of Smith. And those drivers we're talking about, maybe trying to catch that pace a little bit, run a little bit harder up the racetrack. We're just seeing it, though. He's all by himself, though, right there, Tyler. Nobody to work with, nobody to link up to find that speed. He's just running his own race in that 8 truck.
Yeah, and that's kind of hard when you're in the middle of no man's land like Smith is, sitting in the 12th position. He really has no draft in front of him, but he's going to give a little bit of a toe to those trucks behind him. Looks like Sean Hamilton and that 89 machine is going to try and catch up to him, but he's got company behind with Matthew Hutchinson in the 90 and Christopher Blanchard in that 14 machine. We don't have a side-by-side battle on track. Oh, spoke too soon, as it looks like Brian Chu and Steve Barnett are going to go side-by-side in turn 3. Doug Neal now underneath. Looks like Steve Barnett. So tight battling here throughout the pack, but up front it is just a train fest, and I kind of expected that coming into Pocono. We talked about it before the race. It is quite literally a road course that might be on this racetrack.
It really is, though, and we're seeing it here tonight. What you can do if you can just hit those lines consistently, you know which banking, which corners, the degree of the bank, you know how to take these corners on, you know how to enter, you know how to exit. We spoke about it off air there, Tyler. There's a few different ways that you can tackle these corners.
For the lead, though, right now. Sorry to interrupt, but we may have a passer lead. Carry Tribute to the inside of Nathan Maurer. They are side by side as they're going to enter turn number 3 here. So we can get the battle switched over to our leaders. As we see now, Carry Tribute to the inside of Maurer, still fighting for that first and second spot. Tribute is still the inside. We got to move up to that battle in first place. You're looking at Brady Buff there in about 6th place. But there you go. You see a little bit of that lead battle right there. Carry Tribute. Side drive. Oh, and he hooks Maurer. Oh, no.
Yellow flag.
Maurer into the wall hard. Tribute into the wall. And that looked like side drafting gone wrong.
Oh, man, that is not good right there. It's our first caution of the night here at Pocono. And you see right there on your screen, it's a beautiful shot down the front stretch. Looks like, man, that's just so close, Tyler.
It looked like Tribute got about half a car length to the side of Maurer and then tried to come up in side draft because he knew he was going to have a run down the straightaway because everyone aligned behind him. And when he side drafted, he came up and just clipped, as you're going to see it there. He is moving up. Yep. His left side is above that white lane line.
Oh.
And he just hooks Maurer in the left rear. And, I mean, other than that was just a massive mistake by Tribute, I don't know what else you can chalk that up as.
And it looks like, I mean, it's not going to be a... Man, it's hard to say how much damage really was sustained from that impact there to the inside wall, because it looked like they were both braking as hard as they could. Looks like Nathan maybe took some damage to the backside of that truck, maybe tapped the wall a little bit with that front bumper. Gotta remember, ladies and gentlemen, there are no fast repairs here in the Sim Racer Hub Truck Series here, so you gotta kind of calculate how much damage they really sustained in that accident. I think they were trying to brake as hard as they could there, Tyler, but what a hard brake for 2 trucks that were running very, very strong here tonight.
That will not be the stage break, so we're going to have, it looks like, a little shootout here to end stage 1. Your new leader after that caution between the front 2 is Justin White. Adam Newbert moves up to 2nd. Raul as a 3rd. Bill Hale slides into 4th. Brady LaBeouf 5th. Kyle Hess 6th. Tim Hammond 7th. Nathan Maurer drops to 8th. Robert Richards is in 9th. And Travis Bertzer is sitting in 10th. Carey Tribute drops all the way to 14th after that incident. That's where he's slotted when he regained pace speed. But it'll be interesting to see how these drivers handle it, because the 2 most dominant trucks, what looked like, Will, in our opinion, early on were Tribute and Maurer. And now they both have at least some sort of damage. We have new trucks leading the field. How do we think this short little sprint to the end of stage 1 is going to play?
I'm just thinking about right when you said that, Tyler, I thought about how excited Nate was when we interviewed him after he got that pole. He was so excited. He was so pumped up. It's almost like me watching Miami Hurricanes football every weekend. I'm so excited. I'm so pumped up, and then they lose. And I can only feel the disappointment and feel just the air come out of that 971 machine. How excited and how thrilled he was, talking about how this was his favorite track, and now you look at that truck going down pit road. It's just got to be one of the saddest sights to see.
We have some deferring pitch strategy. Maurer is not the only truck down pit road. LaBeouf is also on pit road, as is Nathan Smith, Carey Tribute, as we expected. Also looks like Tyler Thurman and a couple others come down pit road. Doug Neal, Brian Shue. Who else is down pit road? Looks like maybe the Michael Allen machine. Maybe it's Brandon Broadfoot. No, Michael Allen and Brandon Broadfoot are both on pit road, as well as Dan Hagan. That was the other truck I was looking for. So a significant number of trucks deciding to pay here. There's Peyton Aldridge starting out the back. Did not put a qualifying line. Brady LaBeouf looks like he might have some damage on that right rear. Yeah, he's getting damage repairs. He's spending a much longer time on pit road. So the 2 fastest trucks in practice already with significant right side damage in this race. Jonathan Wiley also came down for tires and fuel. Michael J. Poyd, his right side's also scraped up pretty bad. So we're kind of seeing some of these trucks are getting on the wall. Maybe we're missing a few just because we've been throughout the race. Torrey Thompson also with right side damage, it looks like. It's really interesting to see which drivers have right side damage and how that may affect their trucks. And that's going to shuffle the running order a little bit.
And I think it may have been sustained when they were running so bunched up, so 3 wide right there. We might have missed it a little bit watching those leaders. We saw how chaotic it was there on the tail end of that pack. A lot of drivers going 3 wide, a lot of drivers bobbing and weaving there on that back side of that pack there. And it just so happened that the caution came out at the top of the pack right there. The leaders were the ones that crashed, not the guys that were running 3 wide at the back.
Yeah, and I think we were seeing maybe Tribute pushing the envelope early. I can't tell. I mean, the side drafting, I think, was him being a little over aggressive and that may have come back and hurt him as Tribute has been given an EOL penalty for causing that incident. So something to keep note. He'll be starting at the rear of the pack, even if he did also come down pit road to fix some damage. But Adam Newbert will be restarting second still with Rome as a third. Bill Hale's fourth. Kyle Hess will roll off fifth for this restart. Tim Hammond sixth. Robbie Richards seventh. Travis Burtzer eighth. Sean Hamilton ninth. And Matthew Hutchinson, your new top 10. So a little bit of a change up front. Some newer faces, but still the familiar faces of White, Newbert, and Meza, who were running really well. And also Kyle Hess, who had a pretty decent qualifying effort, started fourth, fell back early on, but he's now regained his way back up to fifth, so another driver to keep around.
Yeah, and I like when we talk to Hess every time. He got the hard luck award from last week. Speed works were really good for him, other than the main event race that he had the hard luck there at the end. Led the most laps there at that race. But you hear it when you talk to him, Tyler. He's almost like a humble racer out there. He's cool wherever he finishes on the racetrack. Of course, he wants to win. I think every driver here tonight in this field wants to win. But he's just humble enough to know that, okay, I got a pretty good truck out here. I got some good speed on this racetrack. If I win, that's cool. If I don't, that's cool too. But you like that type of racer, though, Tyler, because it's not a driver that's going to be overly aggressive, not going to be a driver that's going to be too timid on the racetrack. It's going to be a driver that's going to know just what he has there inside that truck.
Yeah, being teammates with Kyle Hess at one point in time, the Triple M Pulling Truck Series for Fridays, I definitely have seen this firsthand. Just a very nice guy, super helpful to his teammates, really, tries to help them learn different things about the truck, about the track, and he wasn't always around for the Friday Night Series, but when he was around, I definitely learned a lot from him. It's definitely paid off for me in a lot of ways, and just how I run a lot of different races. So a great guy, and so we're about to get this restart away. The Pace truck will make the hard left down this front straightaway pit road. Justin White looking for that Geico restart zone will lead the field to the green flag. Barney Flagman waves the green, and we are back underway here. We will have a 3-lap sprint to the end of stage one as Justin White gets shot out of a cannon to start this quick restart here.
Yeah, as we dig down to the first corner right now, Justin White's our leader. Raul Meza is going to try to follow in that 37. Let's see if the 37 has that truck in his grips. Didn't look a little slippery to start off the race, but it looks like Justin White's going to take us down the slanted straight as our race leader.
Kyle Hess got shoved 3 wide and got spit out a little bit there entering turn 1. He's going to lose multiple spots there in the first corner of this restart. He's still stuck on the outside. He can't find a line as we have a truck into the wall. The 99 machine hits the outside wall pretty hard in turn 2, but they keep him all straight for now.
Oof. Getting very dicey there in this back of the pack right now. We're 3 wide. We're blocking each other. It's getting crazy at the tail end of that pack there. No caution on the racetrack, though. It's still Justin White's our race leader. Is going to cross this line here with just a couple laps to go here in stage number 1. This is big, though, Tyler. You want those stage points to leading into the playoffs. You want to run as strong as you can. I know those guys from last week at Daytona, they could care less about how that race ended or those bonus points they received. They wanted to win that race. So here tonight, you're seeing Justin White, though, in that 28 truck. You talked about it out there on that restart, just shot out of a cannon. And it looks like he's going to be the clear winner of stage number 1.
He still has 2 laps to go, though. Bill Hale shot out of a cannon. He was about 7th or 8th entering turn 1. He's going to exit turn 1 sitting around 4th. He's side by side with Richards, though. It looks like they may make contact off the 2. They keep the truck straight for the time being. As we look to Travis Burchard to the inside of Hammond, he's going to try and take that spot. He'll be clear of Hammond in turn 3, but Hammond's going to look for the crossover move off of 3. But we have caution. Caution is incident in the back. It's a big one. It is a big wreck in the back of turn 3.
Yeah, huge wreck indeed. I hope all the leaders get the yellow flag lights flashing inside of that truck because they looked a little dicey up there. Didn't look like they knew what was going on there when the caution flag flew. We'll have to look at that replay there to see exactly what happened on the track. Looks like a big one, though, Tyler. And we talked about it before we started this broadcast, so how this race was going to play out. Was it going to be calm and coy to start this thing out? It almost was there. We had about a 4-car follow the leader kind of train racing around there for a while. Saw the top 2 leaders crash out there. Now we're starting to see a little bit more aggression, a little bit more competitiveness come out of this field here, and we haven't even completed stage 1.
Yeah, it looks like there's a car on pit road trying to see who is getting service there on pit road, but we're looking at the replay of the incident now. This looks like two drivers, and yep, someone was there and someone did not notice. Looks like Wiley gets into the 99 of Charles Keller, I believe. And they're going to go sideways. It looks like it's going to collect the 93 of Tyler Daniels. Nowhere really for Daniels to go. Yeah, the 0 of Jonathan Wiley there involved. It looks like Brian Chu in the 51 may be avoiding some of the contact as he disappears for a quick second. But maybe it wasn't as big as I thought, but it looked a lot bigger when I was looking back on it when it happened. Definitely an interesting wreck, but a couple of internet issues for some of those involved. So looks like maybe just a 4-car pile up there.
Yeah, our biggest pileup of the night here in Tyler. I believe that means stage 1 is going to end under caution here as we're going to see the entire field head down pit road.
And that means our stage 1 winner is Justin White. Congrats to him for the Butt Kicker stage 1 win here. Butt Kicker, feel what you've been missing. Butt Kicker is a proud sponsor of SimRacerHub.com Truck Series, but also a proud sponsor of NASRA as a whole and the NASRA 360 Racing Network. Glad for everything they do as we see a bunch of drivers come down pit road, but a bunch of drivers stay up. For drivers who, took tires at that caution right before, with about 5 laps to go on the stage, Brady LaBeouf will cycle as your new leader, followed by Brian Chu, Michael Boyd, Peyton Rivers, and Terry Tribune will be your new top runner when we get things going. We'll also talk with your stage 1 winner, Justin White, here momentarily. But interesting to note, some of these drivers making a strategy call, they're going to be cycling towards the front. As it looks like Robert Richards is going to win the race off pit road there ahead of Justin White, who will come off second off pit road. Adam Newbert will come third off pit road. Fourth off pit road will be Raul Meza, followed by Phil Hales, Sean Hamilton, Tim Hammond, Matt Hutchinson, and Travis Burks are running off your race off pit road. Other drivers just slowly trickling off the pit road, getting some damage repair, maybe getting some extra fuel. Definitely an interesting stage 1 that we had, Will.
Oh, indeed there, Tyler. I broke it down just a little while ago there. It was almost like a lackadaisical pace there. You had about 4 or 5 trucks there at the top separating from the rest of the field, led by Nathan Maurer up there, just leading the way, kind of keeping pace. You had Kerry Tribune right behind him. Raul Meza in that 37 was the tail end of that pack. And then the two leaders entangle themselves, side drafting. They take out each other. And then you see how crazy it's getting at the tail end of the pack there. We're looking at maybe spots from about 10 to 25 to 30th place on the racetrack right there. It's going 3 wide. They're throwing the tails in front of each other back there. It's getting aggressive. We're seeing damage on trucks that we didn't see before, maybe even scraping the wall. It's getting so tight there at the tail end of that pack. And it's going to end under caution. This is only stage 1. And one thing that stands out to me as well, Tyler, a lot of those trucks headed down pit road. So we're thinking that's about 6 laps earlier than what we were thinking there, the 26 to 30 lap fuel window there on those tanks. Do you think we're going to start to see that more as this race plays out? They're going to try to hit under caution here instead of pushing it through, pushing the envelope a little bit more?
So get the free spots and you can get them. I think if there is a caution at any point in time, you can get an advantage by pitting during it. You're going to see drivers take it. But first, we're going to be joined by our stage 1 winner in the booth, Justin White. You win stage 1. You look very quick out front. Stay with the lead pack. Got maybe a little bit of help when Tribune and Maurer, your teammate, seems wrecked each other on that front straightaway. But it's got to feel nice to get that stage 1 win, Justin.
Yeah, kind of unfortunate. I think Nate was a class of that stage right there. He got kind of wrecked right there by somebody not, racing a little too hard too early. And he's one of my, I guess, co-teammates, whatever you want to call it, or affiliations or whatever. One of my good friends, best friends, and I think he got taken out by somebody just overdriving their talent level. So, but with that said, I'll take the stage win. That's playoff point. Hopefully, we can get us another stage win and get us the win here, and then we can kind of gamble on some pit strategy. So just try to stay out front or stay in the draft as much as possible and use the trucks, side draft and whatnot, get back to the front.
Yeah, well, Justin, I know you're restarting 9th, but hopefully you can make your way back to the front. I know we're about to get going green, so I'll get you back to your team, but thanks for coming and chatting with us real quick.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks, sir.
And that was your stage 1 winner, Justin White. But Brady LaBeouf will lead the field to green here to start stage 2 on lap 22. Remember, we're going end of lap 40 for stage 2. Brady LaBeouf will see the pace truck take a hard left turn down pit road, waiting to get to the Geico restart zone where Barney the flagman will wave the green flag. And we are underway, stage 2 here at Pocono. Brady goes late in the restart zone. He's going to get a great jump ahead of Brian Chu.
seeing that there on the restarts there. If you can lead on the inside track, you have the best opportunity to block both lines there to get into corner number 1. We saw the speed out of that 9 truck there during the practice session. Didn't see it so much during qualifying, though. But that 9 truck is leading the way down the Slen Straight.
And he has a massive lead. Seems like Brian Chu may have been kind of napping as the field fans out 3 and wide throughout the back of the pack. But there's a caution. Caution flag is out. Something is wrong on track. Looks like maybe a couple cars went around, trucks went around. We'll have to see what happened with that incident.
Man, Tyler, even though we have this caution flag on the track, I'm just astonished at how crazy it's getting there at the tail end. Almost 3-4 wide in some circumstances. As a driver, you're just going to be so anxious on that wheel.
And I think that's just a product of how Pocono races. You know, you have to get what you can on the restarts. As it looks, maybe Kerry Tribute and Robert Richards involved here. Robert Richards to the outside, Tribute 3 wide with White in the bottom. Hard to see what happens here. Let me get it just looks like 3 wide. I don't see necessarily where the caution came from. It wasn't an admin thrown caution, so we'll have to see what happened with this incident. But for now, looks like nothing on that one. But yeah, I mean, it looked based on how that restart, Brady LaBeouf just got a massive jump. Brian Chu caught napping, and despite what we've seen on some restarts where maybe the slow car catches back up to the leader through 1, Brady was gone. I mean, he had significant gap over the field.
They're going to look right here to see, keep an eye on the 89 truck to see what may have happened there. Nothing
This
yet.
was after the caution came out as well, because the caution happened, I believe, in turn 1. I'm not sure why that caution came out. Michael Allen is now 1 lap down. Maybe I can see something on my end. We're still looking, ladies and gentlemen, to figure out what exactly happened for the caution on this lap. No one seems to be quite sure at the time being, but don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get to the bottom of it one way or another.
Yeah, but what a race so far, though, Tyler. You know, we talked about a few times here tonight what we thought this race was going to be. You know, we saw what Daytona was a week ago, but here tonight at Pocono, you're seeing these drivers really know what's at stake. This is a money race. You know, we saw the payouts from last week at Daytona. There's a lot of money on the line. Even if you have a hard luck award winner, if you lead the most laps here, you know, there's a lot of things on the line in these Sim Racer Hub Truck Series races. Not only just W's on the line, you know, so for a lot of these drivers that may not have the best trucks out there, you can play different strategies. You can make aggressive moves. You can try to get to the inside of some of these guys, you know, that are going 3-4 wide and just try to make as many positions as you said. And as you said, Tyler, you want to go position at a time, as it looks like we may have found the caution here on this replay.
Yeah, it looks like a truck did go around. Trying to see what number that machine is. But we definitely did see a truck go around. I saw on my own replay as well just now. So definitely have the culprit of our caution. But looks like they almost like their internet dropped almost as soon as the caution happened. So we found the culprit of our caution, just a solo spin, it looks like, off of 1. So nothing too bad regards in the field. Everyone gets through it for the most part cleanly. As we're going to cycle back and hopefully get on the green here in about another lap or so. But Brady LaBeouf will still be your leader. Brian Chu will still hold on to 2nd. Peyton Aldridge 3rd. Cody Sanderson 4th. Michael Boyd 5th. Tyler Thurman 6th. Garrett Tribute 7th. Robert Richards 8th. Justin White 9th still. And Adam Newbert rounding out your top 10 for the time being.
Yeah, quite a top 10 it is right there. And you still see Raul Meza in that 37 lingering inside of the top 10. You see him right there on your screen. A truck that I thought was going to lose pace here. He's still fighting it just a little bit, just 1 spot out of the top 10, around the 11th position. And now, Tyler, we saw what the 37 did at Daytona in the main event, got caught up. Again, one of those trucks that got caught up there at the end. Was really fast in his dual race there. I really feel like this is a truck to maybe watch out for here the rest of the season. Maybe here at Pocono is just really trying to fight the truck. As you said, it is the tricky triangle per se. What do you think Raul's chances are here tonight in that 37?
I think he has to find his way back to the front. I think that track position just means so much that it's just kind of difficult for some of these drivers to make passes here as long as the tires are wearing the way they are.
Yeah, it is getting extremely difficult on the racetrack to make passes. We saw what happened between Kerry Tribute and Nathan Maurer. Kerry just tried to make a simple pass and use that side draft. It's a little bit harder, a little bit easier here in these trucks to use that side draft than per se the next gen stock cars. But even still, Kerry just got too close and just barely tapped Nathan, and just both got entangled, and both are really fighting an uphill battle now to scrape out a good finish here tonight. As it looks like the pace lights are off of that truck. We're about to go green flag racing here once again.
As they will make their way down that back straightaway before the tunnel turn. We've seen it every restart so far. Turn 1 on the restart, everyone's fanning out in that front straightaway, and they're trying to go from essentially 5 wide back down to 2 wide because it is a very, very tight turn 1 for the proper lane. Really, it's a 1-lane turn for the fastest lane. If you're not on that bottom, your truck will shoot up top. So it's very difficult for these drivers to go from 5 to 1, and we're seeing that cause a lot of calamity.
Oh yeah, this is getting crazy on the tail end of these packs right there. 4 wide, 3 wide, just throwing those tails in front of one another. As a back end driver there, you have to be sweating on that wheel. You have to know that any kind of miscalculation, any kind of mismovement there is going to cause a huge crash there at the top of the back end of this pack. But we're starting to see some of those drivers, though, kind of ease up the grid from the tail end of these packs, kind of get themselves inside the top 15, top 10, kind of race a good race here at Pocono. But here we go, Tyler. We're going to go green flag racing.
And again, Brady LaBeouf will wait for that pace truck to make that hard left down pit road, wait for the Geico restart zone. Again, he's going to go late in the restart zone. Barney Flagman waves that green. Field stacks up. They ought to be wary of the fact that he controls the field in that restart zone. He can go whenever he wants, and clearly no one's been able to figure that out.
No, and you see Brady bobbing and weaving both lines as he heads down to the first corner in that 9 truck. Really a lot of speed here, but we're already 3 wide on the first corner right here. Almost 4 wide, Tyler, as we head down the Slennon Straight.
It is a big wreck. Caution is out. Adam Newberg around. Kerry Tribune around. It looks like more and more drivers are involved. They're still wrecking. The 8 of Nathan Smith, Nathan Maurer again, Dan Hagan, and more. Brandon Bullock, again, also involved. Maurer's truck looks severely damaged, as does Tribune's truck. Actually, Maurer doesn't look as bad as Tribune's truck is, but massive wreck. And like we said, drivers going from 5 lanes really to 1. They were running 3 wide throughout turn 1, and it was just not going to work on the exit.
No, and folks, sometimes I run on, sometimes I hammer home points, sometimes I say the same thing twice in the same sentence. And it's only because I see what I see on the racetrack, and right there we had 3, 4 wide on the tail end of this pack, and a lot of the drivers we just saw racing on the top end of the grid that had troubles there. Kerry Tribune, one of them, Nathan Maurer, and I spoke about how tight it could get on the back end of this pack right now, running that close together, and it's just going to cause chaos. Any kind of miscalculation, any kind of mismovement you have there at the tail end of this pack can cause chaos. We see it right there. We're trying to count as many trucks as we can that were involved in this calamity back there. We're counting maybe at least 8 or 9 trucks that sustained damage from that.
Raul Meza making an incredible move on a truck he really couldn't see as Bertzer was spinning back across, but we're on board here, I believe, with Bertzer's number 2. There's Michael Boyd. Yep, we are on board with the Bertzer number 2 machine. He's just spinning. You're going to see everyone behind him. There's Newbert sideways. There's Hammond going by. What you can't see is actually behind Bertzer at this point. Raul Meza is about to get destroyed. Kyle Hess also involved in this incident. He gets hit in his driver's side door, I believe, later in the incident. But he has just nowhere to go through a field of smoke and just absolute chaos. Riding on board here with Tribune. Tribune heavily involved in this incident. As well. Looks like he was the ping pong ball in the disaster that was this wreck.
Man, and Tyler, we haven't even reached the halfway point here tonight. We already have a lot of trucks that sustained heavy damage in this. I think a lot of these trucks might be forced to retire here with no fast repairs. We're talking about hard impacts to the side panels, hard impacts to the tails of these trucks. I mean, just a lot of front side damage to a lot of these guys as well. But when you're racing that tight and that close together, one domino falls, they're all going to fall. And how tight and narrow these straights are here at Pocono, you might be able to get around, you might sneak through just a little bit. But if you're going to go 4 wide and 3 wide, there's really nowhere you can go, as we have trucks stopped there on the backstretch.
Yeah, and we're looking like Tyler Daniels involved, Donnie Lyons, who qualified second, involved. 65 machine of Curtis Rogers also involved, but he's still rolling, it looks like. I think it may be easier to tell you who wasn't in that wreck, or at least who's still running on track. As we'll go, I just heard an engine expire on another truck, actually.
Oof. You see
Not
riding on
sure.
board with Tyler there. Tyler, the two Tylers. You see right there, Tyler was just trying to keep his pace, kind of watch for the holes here. He saw the wrecking happen in front of him. But you look at what you're seeing out of that cockpit right there. There's absolutely nowhere to go. There's trucks all along every inch of that backstretch, and you're gonna bound to run into somebody. It's like playing bumper cars at the fair.
And Adam Newbert has been given the EOL for causing that incident, and it was a doozy. Our pole sitter, Nate Maurer, his night's probably done. Adam Newbert, his night is probably done. As we look here, probably what's the catalyst of this, it looks like it's still a little bit late in what happened, but Bertzer gets just sent on a wild ride when Newbert gets sent back down the track, and it's just chaos from there. But we'll give you a rundown on our current top 10. Brady LaBeouf is currently sitting first. Brian Chu second. Peyton Aldridge third. Cody Sanderson now up to fourth. Tyler Thurman sitting in fifth. Robert Richards, last week's winner, sitting in sixth. Sean Hamilton sitting in seventh. Michael Boyd dropping down to eighth after that restart. Justin White sitting in ninth. He gets maybe a little bit of front end damage, it looks like there, but other than that, he's fine. And top 10 now, Tim Hammond moving up to 10th.
Yeah, shout out to Timmy right there. And that 69 pink machine. You know, one of those actually led some laps at Daytona last week, Tyler. Was really strong racing up there. Faded just a little bit. And with that fading down the grid, was caught up in one of those late race crashes up there. So really didn't end up as the night as he wanted to in that Chevy. But here tonight has really consistently stayed inside the top 10. You know, we've seen, of course, the 4 trucks separate, 5 trucks separate there. We haven't seen it as much now as we're starting to get more green flag laps underneath our belts. That 69 truck has done a great job of really keeping that truck in contention inside of that top 15. That's one of the points I mentioned to start off this broadcast. You really want to keep your truck inside the top 10, top 15, because we've seen what kind of chaos can ensue if you're a little bit further back than that.
Yeah, a little bit of chaos here. It looks like Michael Boyd has been given an EOL penalty as well. So as they're trying to get that grid reset, it's important to know Nathan Maurer, our pole sitter, not happy with Kerry Tribune. Currently, a little bit of a discussion going on between those two drivers. Not pleased at all. Maurer just not happy with how that came down. He blames Tribune for that incident. Unfortunately, our pole sitter, his night is done with. He has taken his car to the virtual garage. A couple other drivers, I think, will be joining him here shortly based on what looked like happened in that race.
Yeah, I'm going to say that they're not going out for steak dinners here tonight, Tyler. I want to watch out for a couple of helmets being thrown down pit road as well.
Yeah, and these drivers, you know, especially when there's money in the line, tempers are going to flare, and that's just part of it. It shows how much these guys really want to win, how much these guys are competing here. They really give it their all, and sometimes, you know, bites back. But Bray LaBeouf's going to lead another restart here at Pocono, waiting for the Geico restart zone. Will he get another crazy good jump like he always has? He's going to go in the middle. He's going to get a good jump. Gets clear of Brian Chu here at the green flag. Brian Flagman says, go at it, boys.
Yeah, as now Brady's going to try to block the topside lane like he has done here on these restarts. It's going to take us down into the first corner. A lot of slicing and dicing and a lot of movement there from the rest of the pack heading down to the first corner. We're already 3 wide once again coming off the corner down on that slanted straight. We're still racing very tight, Tyler. See if we can keep it clean. And we do as we head down the slanted straight.
Yeah, it looks like a truck blinking there may be cause for concern, but right now Brady LaBeouf holds that lead over Brian Chu. Cody Sanderson sliding up to third. Looks like Tyler Thurman moving up to fourth. It looks like Robert Richards looking for that fifth place and getting into that top 5 as I'm not really sure who's fallen back to sixth there, but these drivers are really giving it their all here.
Yeah, and when I just saw out of the 69 truck of Tim Hammond there, actually got a little bit of a wiggle right there, and that's not what you want to have if you're racing this close. But what I want to jump to, though, is look at Brady LaBeouf there in that 9 truck. This is one of the things that I mentioned to start this broadcast off. You want to try to break that draft. I called an IndyCar race earlier where we saw the leader try to break that slipstream coming off those Indy cars. Brady was trying to do just that down that front stretch there, trying to break that draft right there, that second place truck. Because he knows that as long as that second place truck can latch onto that bumper, that's Brian True right there in that 51, he can keep pace with Brady. If Brady can try to break that draft, break it, kind of weave back and forth there down the straights, he can break that draft, and that 51 truck has nothing to keep him in line.
And we're 3 wide for a second, entering 2 for 8th on back. Burtzer was the meat in the sandwich, but now he's on the outside, fighting for position here. Looks like with Sean Hamilton as they're going to enter turn number 3. Burtzer's going to drive in hard, try to get a really good exit here, but he's going to try and dive in that corner. As it looks like, we have a car around. He's trying to save it. Collects another car, but they keep it straight for now.
He saved it there. That was skillful right there. He gets style points for sure. That's a high score of style points right there. Went almost at a 90-degree angle, saved that. Gave a little love tap to the truck to the inside there, but no harm, no fouls. Everybody's still racing here at Pocono.
I wouldn't say necessarily no harm, no foul, as Wiley has some damage. He got really loose there in turn 1. Nathan Smith almost ran him over exiting the corner. Raul Meza is going to get a great run on Wiley. Wiley's going to drop like a rock here down the back straightaway as he looks like he maybe clipped the apron and was super loose. He's going to lose about 3 spots here entering turn 2. Doug Neal looks like he was the one who almost looped it around there exiting 3. Collected, I want to say Wiley. Both of them keep it straight for the time being.
As you now see the 37 truck right there, we saw him battling for position. Looks like he's going to hold that spot right up there. But, I got to say, though, Tyler, that was a clean save there, almost going 90 degrees. You got to work that wheel just right to make sure you save that truck. If you try to oversteer or overcorrect that truck just a little bit, there was so many trucks around him. That's going to be another caution. Looks like we might have another one right there. Looks like, no, they're going to save each other right there as we have a truck down in the grass.
Looks like Doug Neal, possibly. Not really sure who's down there in the grass. Maybe it's Peyton Aldridge. And that's an unfortunate situation. It is Peyton Aldridge. His engine is blown, too. We see the smoke coming out of the back of that machine as he heavy hit there. But we stayed green as all the trucks kept it straight for the time being. Out front, though, Brady LaBeouf and Brian Chu have kind of pulled away from that third-place machine as Brady popped a little bit in and out there with the internet. But those front 2 are quite a bit clear of that third-place driver, Tyler Thurman, for them.
Yeah, I want to watch Brady here down that stretch right there in that 9 truck right there. You see Tim Hammond in the 69 trying to hold position right there. That's last week's winner, Robert Richards, trying to gain a position on the grid right on the back bumper of that 69 truck down into the corner. Maybe just trying to use that draft a little bit here as we're counting down the laps here already in stage number 2, Tyler. This race is flying by here tonight at Pocono. But we see these drivers getting a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more anxious behind their steering wheels.
Yeah, only 6 laps left in the second stage, but Brady LaBeouf has pulled out to a sizable lead now over Brian Chu. I would call it maybe about 3/4 of a second for now. Peyton Aldridge did limp his way all the way back around the pit road, so he will make it to the garage. Important to note, Kerry Tribune and Zach Hartwick also taking their trucks to the garage. Their nights are done as well, as Hammond's going to make a move for 4th over Cody Sanderson. Will Sanderson do the crossover move down the front straightaway? The answer is no. It looks like he'll hold serve. Move Hammond up to 4th.
Yeah, Tim Hammond gains another position inside of the top 5 now. I mentioned how that truck's been a consistent top 10, top 15 truck throughout tonight's race. Now inside the top 5's got to hold on to that position, though. Looks like Sanderson wants that spot back. He's not happy inside of that 88 truck right there as he wants to get that position away from the 69. Looks like Tim's going to start to separate a little bit, and he wants to catch that draft off the 3rd-place car.
He is trying to catch up there to that 3rd-place car now of Brian Chu. Brian Chu and Tyler Thurman. It looks like Tyler Thurman's flashing a little bit here and there. He's trying to catch that 2nd and 3rd pairing, but that 2nd and 3rd pairing is starting to lose even more ground to the leader. Call it about a second, maybe a little bit more between Brady LaBeouf and Brian Chu. I wonder if Brian Chu is maybe slowing down Thurman and Hammond from touching our leader Brady LaBeouf, as we have almost a 3-wide battle for it looks like 5th.
Yeah, and I started to see it there. Brady knew that Chu was right on his back bumper, and you started to see that sort of breaking the draft strategy. He can keep Brian off his back bumper. Brian's not going to latch himself to that back bumper of the 9 truck. I think Brady knew that in the back of his mind. If he can make sure that that's not a clean air coming off the top of that truck, kind of bob and weave a little bit down the straights, kind of make it hard for Brian to keep consistent speed behind the 9 truck, that he could really pull away. And you're starting to see it here at the end of stage number 2. Looks like that's the exact strategy that 9 truck is trying to implement here. Is now he's in total clean air by himself, And for Brian to catch this draft anymore now, he's going to have to link up with these two other trucks behind him. That's going to cause him to lose even more speed to the 9.
Looks like Brady LaBeouf did not have a good turn 1 or 2 this time. Brian Shu maybe closing that gap a little bit to the leader. It was a 1 second last lap. It is now down to 0.7 of a second, so 0.3 faster there for Brian Shu that time by. The battle for, it looks like 5th raging on, though. Cody Sanderson, Sean Hamilton, and Robert Richards dogfight for that.
Yeah, the dogs are out, and these dogs want to play. Who let the dogs out? Shout out to Baja, man, as these 3 trucks are fighting it out right now for a spot inside the top 5. And right now, as we're clicking down the laps here in stage number 2, I think Brady LaBeouf has found the speed as he's going to go the middle lane to that straight right there. Looks like he's just found his lanes here tonight, Tyler. And you see it's just super clean on the entry of the corner. You know, on the exit as well, just very, very clean. You don't see any wiggles out of that truck at all. Comes not even close to the top side wall there on the exit of the corner there. Gonna cross this line here with 1 lap to go here in stage number 2.
Lead drop maybe 100th of a second there. Not much, though. What Brady really wants to see is what's going to happen here in a turn 1. Tyler Thurman's going to look to the inside of Brian Shu for 2nd. Maybe Tim Hammond's going to look to the inside of Brian Shu and take 3rd place away. But Hammond's going to have a poor run off of 1.
Inside.
And he's going to look to the inside. Chu and Thurman are going to go nose to tail down this back straightaway. Hammond actually holding serve because Chu had to check up because Thurman was just so slow off of 1 after diving to the bottom. And Chu's going to drop back to 4th here, it looks like. And if we clear him off of 2, and he just barely does, almost collecting Chu in the wall. But now Thurman is going to go chase down our leader, Brady LaBeouf.
Yeah, as Thurman's going to try to chase him down here. I don't think it's going to be enough, though, as Brady has a bit of a gap now at the top of the grid. He's going to cross this line here on lap 40. Looks like he's going to take stage number 2 right now, as it looks like Thurman's going to try to catch him here on this lap, but I just don't think he has enough speed after separating from those 2 cars of Hammond. And looking at right there, not going to be enough, though, as he's just trying to catch that draft coming off the 9 truck. Not going to be enough, though, but you look at the 69 of Hammond, though. That's a surprise here tonight. Has really just found the speed inside that truck. A good move for 2-for-1 action there. Was able to get both spots. Got a spot there on the track, and that might finish this stage inside the top 3.
And important to note, Brady LaBeouf did have some damage on the right side of that truck earlier in the race. We saw him repair it early on around lap 15 when the first caution flag of the night flew. But Brady LaBeouf going from pit road damage to winner of stage number 2. Brady LaBeouf's going to do here the boss man and win the 2nd stage here in Alpha-1 Awareness 200 here at Pocono.
Yeah, and what a clean stage that was for that 9 truck. You know, we talked about it at the start of this broadcast off about the speed he showed in practice. One of the fastest trucks in practice. Didn't really show it in qualifying. Maybe just didn't run the best lap that he could have there in that 9. And that kind of equated for him starting in the middle of the pack. You know, in that first stage was just kind of a mediocre truck, was kind of keeping pace. But in the 2nd stage, though, Tyler, he made the adjustments. He did what he had to do. Whatever repairs he did to that truck made that truck a lot faster. Because once he got inside that clean air, he checked out from the rest of the field.
Yeah, and it's important to note that currently we only have a handful of drivers who are out of the race. Adam Newbert, Nathan Maurer, Kerry Tribune, Zach Holbrook, Peyton Aldridge, and Dan Hagan. 5 drivers out of the 37 trucks who started. Millie's Restaurant Catering, sponsor of NASRA as a whole, as well as the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. Millie's Catering, located in Daytona Shores, Daytona Beach, Florida area. Longtime supporter of us here at NASRA. And our stage 2 winner, again, being the boss man, Brady LaBeouf in that number 9 machine for Mission 1 Sports.
Yeah, and what a stage that was. We saw calamity. We saw big wrecks there at the tail end of the pack. We saw a lot of guys that we saw leading the race there to start things off here tonight get entangled in that. And that made way for this 9 truck of Brady LaBeouf to really show out there in stage number 2. But Tyler, I really think this race is really just about to begin now, as we're going to have 40 laps to the finish. We were talking about before we started this race here tonight, they're going to have to pit inside those 40 laps as well. So you want to see which drivers want to take that gamble to push it or which drivers want to go in a little bit early to make sure they have that run there to the finish.
I think that's going to be very important to note here in that final stage. Is that pit stop? Will it happen under caution or under green? Will we see what happened in stage 2? A lot of chaos, especially on restarts where we see cautions breed cautions. Or we get more like a stage 1, only one caution in stage 1 around lap 15. So a nice long run. Yet to be seen, but let's give a rundown of our stage points getters for tonight. Brady LaBeouf wins stage number 2. Tyler third. Second. Tim Hammond third. Brian Chu fourth. Sean Hamilton fifth. Robert Richards, last week's winner, running 6th. Cody Sanderson 7th. Travis Burtzer involved in that big wreck earlier, 8th. Michael Allen, we talked to, last week's 2nd place finisher, 9th. And Nathan Smith running in 10th. So that was your stage point winners for stage number 2 here at the Alpha-1 Awareness 200 at Pocono. As we see these drivers all come down pit road. So they're all going to need fuel and tires here to start this 3rd and final stage.
Yeah, as you're looking at it, right? Because we talked about when we started this race off, 26 to 30 lap fuel windows. So you're thinking right now on lap 40. Next time these drivers are really gonna have to start thinking about this is around maybe lap 66, 70, and that's gonna put us at around about 10 laps to go there at the end of this fuel window. So it's going to be a very tricky strategy there at the end. Whether you want to push this truck to the end, get your fuel or get your pit stop out of the way early so you're good for a little bit more laps there towards the end, or Tyler, do you push it there to that 10 to go?
I think it's going to be even tighter than we think. By the time we go green, I'm expecting there to be about 35 to go. We may see some drivers try to stretch it as far as they can, get a splash of fuel, and then try to be the first one off pit road and back to the green, or back to the checker. So I think this stage being just outside the fuel window is going to open up some strategy. I don't think anyone can make it to the end, mind you, but I think it does open up some strategy plays, as we're going to also bring into the booth our stage 2 winner, the boss man, Brady LaBeouf. Join now with our stage 2 winner, Brady LaBeouf. Brady, I mean, a wild stage 2. Really, you just had to do a bunch of restarts, it seemed, and then a nice 10-ish lap run to the end. How would you say the truck's handling right now? We saw you had to fix some damage, it looked like, earlier. What are you feeling right now in that truck?
Yeah, Tyler, man, it just kind of played into my favor a little bit right there. I messed up. I was looking down at my fuel mileage, and I caught the wall coming off of 3 earlier and had 30 seconds of optional repair. So I kind of went and took care of that on that first caution to get it knocked out the way. And but the truck feels good. The lap times are still good. So like I said, it just kind of played into my favor to get back up front and get track position and be out of the chaos, I guess you would call it.
Are you expecting, this 3rd stage to kind of be more like stage 2, or do you think we're going to see a long green flag run to the end with some green flag stops?
I guess it depends on the group, It seems like everybody's kind of antsy, making it 3-4 wide back there from what I'm hearing on the radio, and everybody kind of want to get up to the front right now. But I mean, this is the money stage, right? This is the last one, so I'm sure everybody's going to be going for it.
And real quick, as we saw kind of at the end of that stage, once Thurman got by Brian, she only had a lap. He kind of gained some ground on you. Do you think that Thurman maybe has something more for you here in this final stage? Do you think Brian was kind of acting as a little bit of a buffer, or do you think Brian can kind of get that truck going again and compete for a win here with you?
Yeah, I'm not sure if Tyler and I was on the same strategy. I know Brian came over the radio and said that he had never changed tires yet, so I knew that I had better tires than him. Tyler, I'm not sure, but he was definitely catching me, and within next 2 or 3 laps, I think he would have been passing me. So I definitely need to keep an eye on him for the long run.
Yeah, well, thanks again, and congrats on your stage 2 win. Hopefully we'll be talking to you at the end of this race, but go have a good one and keep it clean, and good luck.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. As that was our stage 2 winner, Brady LaBeouf. And Will, I mean, it sounds like he may think that Tyler Thurman may have something for him here in this final stage, as we're about to get going here to kick off our final, looks about 36 lap run to the end. The pace truck pulls hard left down pit road. Brady LaBeouf looking for Barney the flagman on the green flag. He jumps on the gas. He's going to get clear of Thurman, although not as good of a jump. Maybe Thurman jumped the restart there. A little bit of a concern there, but Brady's going to lead into 1.
Yeah, and you already see Brady slide to the outside to throw that block on Thurman. Knew that Thurman had a better restart here. That's why he slid to the top side, threw that block as fast as he could. As now you see Raul Meza there stuck in the sandwich
Big
three
slide
wide
from
right
Brady
there.
LaBeouf. He's going to get hard by Tyler Thurman. Sorry to interrupt you, Will, but Brady LaBeouf came off a 1 sideways, almost wrecked the truck. Tyler Thurman's going to jump to the lead, followed by Sean Hamilton. Brady LaBeouf's going to try and hold on for third.
Yeah, and you see Brady now struggling to hold on position. Must be something wrong with that truck because he is definitely slip sliding around the track. He is slip sliding down the grid as well. Looks like he's going to lose another position on the racetrack right there to last week's winner, Robert Richards, there in that 48. And now you see that 48 back in contention once again. Exactly what he did last week. Tyler worked himself into the mix. He waited for everything, the dominoes to fall in front of him, and he slid right there in that 48 truck to a victory at Daytona. Was as surprised as everybody at the end of that race. I couldn't even find him in my race notes there at the end, but I'm sure he made that Clemson 48 look very good as a little bit of a slide there coming off the corner. But man, you gotta love those purple rims there on that Clemson machine.
And it looks like Brady LaBeouf is really struggling on fresh tires here. I think once he gets settled back in, maybe he's a little antsy to start this stage, calms his nerves a little bit, gets back in the groove. He has the speed, I think, to keep with Sean Hamilton and Tyler Thurman. He's just got to relax, collect it back, cool the tires off a little bit. They probably heated up a lot after that first big slide, and he made a great run in there in 3, and he's already back with those front two. So maybe just a little bit of nerves and a little bit of cold tires and hurt Brady there on the restart.
Yeah, and you're starting to see him, though, get control of that truck once again. He's going to file back in line right now, trying to keep pace with those leaders. He doesn't want to lose too much ground right up there. He knows the advantage it is to get out inside that clean air. We saw what he did in stage number 2. When you can get out there in that clean air, really kind of just set the pace for the rest of the field. But now we see right now Brady LaBeouf has got the handle of that truck. He is trying to get around Hamilton in that 89. It looks like he might do it here in the next couple laps.
Yeah, important to know, after review, the restart was deemed good. Tyler Thurman was falsely given the black flag by iRacing. That has been cleared. So Thurman is good to go now on the race after a review by our individual race control. So restart was deemed a good restart. All the drivers are good to go. It's important to note that here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series, we use the iRacing restart zones. They're not perfect yet. They're still working on the system. So we do have an individual race controller to validate all restarts and make sure no one was given an unfair advantage.
It looks like it's great to clarify that up there, Tyler, as it looked like the restart was a little funny just because we don't see it as close as we've been seeing it all race long. We usually see one truck really separate themselves on that restart. And that restart right there was a lot closer. We had Brady slide all the way up to the track to throw that block on Thurman to start things off. But you look at Brady LaBeouf there. He's going to go to the inside of the 89 truck of Hamilton for second place right now. He wants that top position back. Like Ludacris once said, he's coming for that number 1 spot. And he is coming right now in that 9 truck to get around Hamilton to the inside. Looks like Brady LaBeouf is going to clear on exit. Not enough, though, as they're still side by side.
Brady LaBeouf looks like he got a little bit bound up on the bottom. Couldn't get that front rotated through turn 3. What turn 4? Obviously here at Pocono, we only have 3 of them here. But it looks like Brady LaBeouf just got a little tight there on the bottom. Couldn't keep the truck rotated, and that's why I wasn't able to complete the pass there on Sean Hamilton. Hamilton, though, looking to the back bumper of Tyler Thurman, but that's going to allow Brady to get, it looks like, a decent run, but it stalled out there as he washed up.
Yeah, Hamilton's going to use that push from Brady LaBeouf in that 9 to try to bring in Thurman there at the top of the grid. You saw it right there. The 9 of LaBeouf was pushing along after having to file back in. As you just mentioned, didn't have enough speed to get around Hamilton there. Hamilton's now going to use that to his advantage to try to take over the lead, using that draft that he just got from Brady inadvertently, I'm going to say, there for Brady trying to pass him there.
Caution is out. It looks like, I'm not sure exactly where the incident may have happened, but we do have a caution here. Pace truck's coming out now. We'll collect our leader in Tyler Thurman, but right now we are under caution again tonight here in the Alpha-1 Awareness 200 at Pocono. It's like Nathan Smith hit the wall. He is also taking his car to the garage. I wonder what happens here. Gets to the apron. I wonder if he incidentally collects someone here. Clearly out of shape.
And you see he's trying to save it there in that 8, and that 8 just had a struggle of a night here tonight at Pocono. It's a tricky triangle for most. It's almost like a love-hate relationship for a lot of these drivers, Tyler. Either you really love this track or you really hate this track here at Pocono. And for the 8 truck, I'm sure that he's wanting to get the next week. Not really had the greatest races so far. The 8 trucks just seem to be the guy that's mixed in a lot of this calamity. Looks like he's just going to park it there. And that's what brings out the caution.
And that's just, I think, pretty poor form there. We don't want to see someone bringing up the caution because they put the wall and decide to stop on track. You really should have brought it back around down so the drivers can continue their race, because it definitely looks like he was the cause of the caution. It looks like right when he stops, you see those lights go from green to yellow. So yeah, iRacing threw the caution for him being stopped near the racing surface.
Yeah, now you see that 8 down pit road. Looks like he just gonna call it a night here, Tyler. It's as I mentioned, it's not been the race for him here. For a lot of these other guys, though, at the top of the grid right there, it's been a race to remember here at Pocono. As we're going to see a mixture of trucks, maybe a little bit of a fake-out move right there, Tyler. Some drivers thought about it. Some drivers are going to stay out. Looks like, though, a good chunk of drivers, though, are going to use this opportunity to head down pit road. Possibly some of those drivers that want to push it to the end.
Yeah, Robert Richards and it looks like Doug Neal on pit road, along with, I want to say, the Matthew Hutchinson number 90 machine, Travis Burtzer in that 2 machine, Michael Allen, Brandon Broadfoot also coming down pit road, Dan Hagan, again, another driver down pit road, Blanchard coming down pit road as well. So a lot of drivers pitting here, maybe thinking they can make it to the end, but they're right on that number. It's possible. 51 to go. We said the fuel window is around 26 to 30. That's under 30 to go. Maybe this is the strategy call that gets into the front.
Yeah, it really could be, because you gotta think they're gonna have a full fuel tank. They're gonna have tires that are warmed up. We saw there, Tyler. Actually, you were the one that pointed it out, and it's a great thing to point out for our viewers at home here on the Nazareth 360 network. On fresher tires, it looks like the trucks are a lot more loose there on the fresh tires. Now, it could just be that they're not warmed up. They don't have enough stickiness, if you will, on those tires just yet. But we saw it at Brady LaBeouf. We saw it at Tim Hammond there on that restart. Looks like the newer the tires, the slicker the tires are for some reason here at Pocono. And watch out for that as this race ticked down. These leaders have to pit at some point during this green flag run. Whether they get those fresh tires on that truck, is that going to make the trucks even harder to drive there towards the end?
It may, but also I think there's enough of a benefit for taking tires at a certain point. If you have a 5-lap run to the end, someone's been on 30-lap old tires, I want to be on those fresh tires. I want to be able to have that extra bit of grip, especially on lap 3 or 4 of that run. That being said, we may not see tires matter as much if we get a green-white checker, because the tires have cooled down enough. You can kind of run 2 laps probably on an old set of tires without any concerns. Especially, clean air is just as important for getting a 2-lap run. Getting clear, not being in traffic. Dirty air doesn't really... dirty air and old tires, bad. But clean air and old tires is surviving.
Yeah, we'll watch out here as we're clicking down the race here. This is race number 2 of the Sim Racer Hub Truck Series here, brought to you by Nazareth and the Nazareth 360 Network. I'm joined by my main man Tyler for the night here. And Tyler, we've had one heck of a race here at Pocono. We saw what happened at Daytona. It was really calm, cool, and collected to the end. But here at Pocono, this has just been a chaotic, crazy race since the drop of the green flag.
And it's been throughout, just like you said, Will. We hadn't had like a race at Daytona where the first 20 laps at Daytona were caution-free, clean, easy. Kyle Hess led every single lap there of Stage 1, dominated Stage 1, won Stage 1. We had a caution late in Stage 1, and then Stage 2 was anything but calm. It was the calamity stage. So it's interesting to see how these drivers will handle this third stage here. We are less than 30 laps to the end of this race. And up front, we still have Sean Hamilton, Tyler Thurman, and Brady LaBeouf sitting in third.
Yeah, as we're watching this truck lead us around the last straight here at Pocono, I do want to shout out that it's World Diabetic Awareness Day here, so shout out to all those people who fight that fight every day with diabetes. I know my grandmother has diabetes there. It's a fight that she's fought for a long time as well. For all you folks out there, we want to recognize you on all your fight. We're with you there with the diabetes fight there and everything that you have to go through day in and day out. So shout out for the World Diabetic Awareness Day here, as now we see that pace truck pull off here. Tyler, we're going to go green flag racing here once again.
And Thurman getting a solid jump, chose the outside lane on that restart and it paid dividends. He's going to get clear of Hamilton. Very clear Hamilton. Brian Chu may be pulling side by side with Hamilton coming into turn 1. Brady LaBeouf's going to try and push Hamilton ahead of Brian Chu.
It's coming down into the first corner right there. Man, that's super tight down there in the first corner as the 89 truck of Hamilton's trying to get around Thurman. Seeing a little bit more of a bunch up there. See some trucks get loose coming off that corner down the slanted straight right now. Down into the second corner right now. Brady LaBeouf's trying to get back up to where he belongs. That's at the top of the grid. Has one of the fastest trucks all night long. As you mentioned, Tyler, suffered damage in the first half of this race, but now he's got that thing fixed and he's got that thing on rails right now as we close this race out.
Yeah, but he needs to get by that Brian Chu machine so he can keep draft with Hamilton and Thurman. He doesn't get clear of Chu here soon enough. It's going to hurt them all, and those front two are going to pull away. Tim Hammond's going to get in line with Brady LaBeouf. They're going to try and figure out a way to get by Brian Chu because they know that they are probably a little bit faster than him in the long run. They don't want to be behind him too long as Raul Meza is going to join the puppy pump.
Now watch out for that 69 truck, though. We saw this move before out of Tim Hammond. Those two trucks in front of him will get entangled with each other. They'll have a battle for position. Watch that 69 to slip to the inside as these two trucks are battling out. Try to get a little 2-for-1, a little BOGO action there out of that 69 truck. Try to go around both of these. Maybe a hopscotch 2 positions on the racetrack. Looks like, though, he's losing a little bit of a pace to Brady LaBeouf. There's no Brady.
The wall.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Woo!
And Hammond will hit one of those spots, as you were saying, because Brian Chu slapped the wall hard off of turn 2. That's going to have significant damage. Brady LaBeouf gets through. Tim Hammond gets through. Bill Hales and Raul Meza are now going to look for a way to get by Brian Chu down this long, long front straightaway. But still out front, who's your leaders? Tyler Thurman and Sean Hamilton. But now Brady LaBeouf is the dog chasing.
Man, that was almost a code brown for those drivers around Brian Chu as he went up on the wall. They almost bounced back into the rest of the trucks. Great job from Brian Chu to save that thing from the hard impact there on the top side of the wall. It just goes to show his driver skill and his mobility in these trucks to be able to save that thing after taking such a hard impact. But we see right now these guys are still battling out as we're single file down into the corner right there as Raul Meza in that 37 still in the mix, trying to hold on, trying to scrape out a good finish here tonight, Tyler.
Yeah, Bill Hales did get by Brian Chu there in turn 1. Raul Meza didn't try to do it here in turn 2, but he has some damage. Raul Meza is going to have a driver to his inside. Nope, he's going to pull back in line. Looks to be maybe the tool. Not really sure exactly. Can't tell by that angle. But Tyler Thurman's got a little bit of company from Sean Hamilton up front. You know, he can't really rest on his laurels right now as Dan Matthews is the driver looking to try to get by Raul Meza.
Yeah, right there as we take a look at the
Caution is out.
Let's see where that occurred. It had to have happened at the back of the pack there. And this is where the majority of the cautions have happened here tonight, Tyler, is the back end of these packs. You know, we saw in the beginning of the race 3-4 wide racing now with a lot more drivers retired here tonight.
Brandon Bullock's engine has expired. Brandon Bullock's engine has expired. He is rolling down the pit road. I'm going to probably make a confident guess that he was involved in that incident. So I interrupt you, Will, but important to note, Brandon Bullock, a driver who was pretty competitive last week at Daytona, got involved in a wreck late. He also is going to get caught up in a wreck here late in Pocono.
Yeah, that's just going to be heartbreaking. 2 weeks in a row. Have a strong truck, a strong ability to in this series, and just to get caught up. You know, we got less than 25 laps to go here tonight. To have your night end like this as we watch this replay here on the NASCAR 360 network. See what occurred there to have that engine blow on him right there as we're going to take another look at it here in just a second. But Tyler, we're ticking down the laps already here at Pocono. This race is seemingly flown by here tonight.
These cautions are bringing one thing interesting to note. They're going to allow those drivers who maybe weren't able to make it earlier reel back in. Looks like Bullock had Michael Boyd behind him on lap 54, maybe to his outside. And Brandon Bullock enters the corner, and it looks like he gets dive bombed, door slammed, and up around he goes, hits Michael Boyd, hits the wall, and that is all she wrote based on what I saw replay of mine. Steve Barnett making door-to-door contact with Bullock, sends him up, hits Michael Boyd, and then he goes into the wall. So that's how Bullock's night ended here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So unfortunate end to Brandon Bullock's night. His engine has expired, so we'll have to wait and see. But right now, these drivers are about to get restacked hopefully here soon. But we're actually going to take this chance to talk to the driver involved in that last incident, Brandon Bullock. Brandon, we're here in the booth. Tyler Dittmer and Will Tiller. Can you walk us through what happened with that incident? It looks like you someone made a dive bomb on you, and you were just a victim.
Oh yeah, it was one of those aggressive moves. Especially, I think we were running, or I don't even know. I was running 30th. I think he was in 27th or something like that. Wasn't really much of a need for that, but it is what it is.
Yeah, well, Brandon, I guess the one consolation is you currently are 5th in points, and you had a decent points night last week. I know it's got to be frustrating for you, though, to have these races where not necessarily things panned out at the end. Next week is Texas. Are you looking forward to that race?
Oh, yeah. Texas will be good. It usually is. It's sometimes just as much staying out of some of these incidents as you can as opposed to driving past, so hopefully going forward we can stay out of that.
Yeah, I totally understand, Brandon. Well, I'll let you get back with your team, and hopefully you can help them to a win tonight. But obviously, a pleasure talking with you, and hopefully you have some better luck in some of these future races.
Yep, thank you guys.
Thank you. As again, that was Brandon Bullock, driver of the number 17 machine, I believe, for Mission 1 Esports, but my bad, Warrior Racing Esports, correction. But you could tell he was dejected, to say the least, in his voice with how that incident went down.
Yeah, that's just, God, it's just hard to put into words, Tyler. We spoke about what these drivers are racing for here tonight. You're racing for cash, you're racing for points, you're racing for respect on the racetrack as well. Some of these drivers won't admit that, but you definitely want to show yourself out here. You want to be a great driver, so week in and week out, these drivers know that you're one of the best trucks out there. And for Bullock, he's put forth just an incredible effort. He put forth an incredible effort at Daytona, gets caught up late. Put forth an incredible effort here tonight. Maybe it wasn't the fastest truck here tonight at Pocono here at the Tricky Triangle, but was going to finish with a pretty good, maybe top 15, top 10 truck there, and unfortunately gets caught up at the end again. I don't think this is going to be the last of the 17 truck that we're going to see here this season. It's just been a rough start here for that 17 truck.
Yeah, Steve Barnett was given an EOL for door slamming. They're arguing, though, the fact of the accident. But right now, we have new leader up front, Matthew Hutchinson for Friendly Motorsports, and that 90 machine. First time he's been up front here. Travis Burtzer sitting second, Cody Sanderson third, Jonathan Wiley fourth, all from, I believe, Who's Your Daddy Motorsports. So big change up front, Will. We haven't really talked about any of these 4 drivers so far tonight.
No, and I thought that name sounded familiar there in that 90 truck of Matthew Hutchinson. That's one of the fastest trucks that we saw at Daytona. Didn't have the run in the main event race there that cap off speed weeks there, first couple weeks of the season. That 90 truck, showed a lot of skill, a lot of ability in those speed weeks. Like I said, didn't really have the truck there at the end in the future race. But here tonight, as these laps are going to tick down here, it's going to be pretty fast here at the top of the grid.
Yeah, the Hoosier Daddy Motorsports gang of 3, second through 4th there. Those guys are very tough guys to pass. They have talent. They had really poor luck, I think, at Daytona. A lot of them involved in big wrecks late, it seems. But a big change up front, as you said. Matthew Hutchinson is going to lead Burtzer, Sanderson, Wiley, Thurmond, Hamilton, LaBeouf, Ailes, Emmond, and Chu as your top 10 here. So we're going to have just about, it looks like 21 laps to go when we go green.
Oh, man, what a shootout we have on our hands, Tyler. I am excited and pumped up for the drop of this green flag. We've got the Who's Your Daddy Motorsports team at the top. We got some speed behind them as well, as we're going to see this pace truck pull off We're going to go green flag racing once again.
As you see, Hutchinson hits the Geico restart zone. He's going to take off. No, he doesn't go. He's going to wait for the flag to come out naturally. He's not going to get a jump. It's going to be 2 by 2 by 2 entering turn 1 unless he gets a big push here. Oh, and they're going to go 3 wide for the lead, it looks like.
Ooh, this is going to get dicey down into the first corner right now. This is the tightest restart we've seen all night long. Right now, it's very tight. We're 3 wide in some spots around that first corner as we head down the slanted straight. Watch out as we're wrecking down the slanted straight.
Doug Neal goes around involving other trucks. That looks like, oh, I can't tell. It looks like maybe Dan Hagen involved. Sean Hamilton, though, on the outside, I think went from 7th to 4th. Just an amazing move by Hamilton. You know, see him all the way at the top of your screen. We're going to look at this incident here. 3 wide in the back, and it looks like Doug Neal is going to clip the apron, and that around she is going to go. And that's an unfortunate situation. Yep, you see sideways, but it looks like the 38 of Dan Matthews also sideways.
Yeah, as you see, a 38 truck's going to save it, get down the apron just a little bit, but then that oversteer, once he thinks he saved that truck, and there he's going to go head up the track. But it looks like more of the calamity happened in front of this 38, because it looks like the 38's going to stay clean by himself. Looks like everybody else just got a little bit frantic there after passing the 38 and just tapped each other up there, Tyler.
Doug Neal and Dan Matthews did a nice synchronized spin, actually, off of one. If you watch again, if you see here, they're both going to go sideways to the left, and then they're both going to overcorrect to the right there. I mean, if you're the judges give it about a 9.5 across the board, but the Russian judge gives it an 8. So we'll have to throw that score out. But it looks like Cody Knott gets through that incident. Michael Allen barely gets through that incident. But I'm unsure of who is the poor soul that got caught up. It looks like the 30 machine. I'll have to check our notes to see who the number 30. That's Ron Hunter. Ron Hunter, unfortunately, did not avoid that one.
We need like a Taylor Swift EDM remix out here for this figure skating session we just saw take place here down the slanted straight. And I almost had deja vu, a little PTSD of the Charlotte Roval first corner as we were heading down to that first corner right there. Everybody was so bunched up. Everybody was 3-4 wide. I knew something bad was going to happen on the exit of that first corner.
Yeah, Doug Neal just lost it, and the 38 lost it, but it looks like the 38 didn't hit anyone, so he's still good. But these drivers now looking at maybe doing pit stops. I don't think we're going to see anyone in the top 20 pit right now because track position means so much, so looks like everyone else is going to hold serve up front for him.
Yeah, that's a good move there. Try to push the envelope just a little bit, make sure you're good to the end. You know, for some of these trucks there at the tail end of this pack, maybe it's a good idea to head down, get some fresh tires on there if you have any sets left. Get some fuel inside those trucks. Maybe scrape out a top 15 finish if you can. I mean, it might not be a race here tonight. Might not have the fastest truck, but hey, who knows, Tyler? We saw what Robert Richards did last week in that 48. Essentially, came out of nowhere at the end of that race to snag that victory from all those names that we've been mentioning all night long. So who knows? It could be one of these names that we haven't called out here tonight that could just snag that victory at the end.
And you know, it seems like this race is coming closer and closer to being survival of the fittest as we're looking at the Bill Hales machine 53. Significant damage to that left side there, but he's still running well up in the top 10. Looks like he's sitting about 6th right. So the other drivers up here, Cody Sanderson, Jonathan Wiley, Sean Hamilton, as well as Travis Burtzer and Matthew Hutchinson, currently your leaders. So the number 90 machine for Friendly Motorsports still leading the way, but definitely interesting to see how this final restart will play out. But we still looks like one more pace lap around. Lights are still on that pace truck, so we'll go around one more time here. Maybe we'll try and catch up with. Looks like we'll try and see if we can get our race leader in the booth here and talk with him real quick. Matt Hutchinson, Tyler Dittmer in the booth. You got a copy with us?
Yes, sir.
Matt, I mean, Mister, where did he come from? I know you've kind of had a quiet race so far, but now you find yourself up front here with less than 20 to go. Was this all a strategy play to get yourself up front, and you think you got enough horses under that hood still to hold everyone off behind you?
Yeah, I decided to get my last set a little early. Got enough fuel on the previous stop, and I'm just going to try and stay out here and see if I can finish in the top 10.
Well, definitely the strategy gets you up front, and it's kept you clear of the chaos so far. Are you worried maybe about any of these restarts, someone behind you being a little too aggressive and potentially taking you out, or you think the racing up front, at least in the first few rows, is going to stay pretty calm?
Well, so far it's seemed like there's been a lot of trucks eliminated, so hopefully everybody up here is just trying to get a good finish. And like I said, I just tried to stay out and see if I can't get a top 10 out of my strategy here. See if it pays off.
Well, we hope it does for you, Matthew, and I want to let you go, but thanks for talking with us, and maybe we'll see you in Victory Lane or in a top 3 interview at the end of it. Well, we hope
Sounds good.
Awesome, thank you. That was our race leader currently, Matthew Hutchinson, sitting in P1. And Will, I mean, it seems like maybe he's selling himself a little bit short. He's just saying, I just want a little top 10 out of it. But he's the leader here, and with the way this race is going, we may not have a lot of green flag laps left in this.
No, I love it out of the 90 truck. He's that oh shucks type of guy. He's the guy you watch out for playing pool, playing cards, playing golf. He's the guy that goes out there and says, I only play a couple times a week, and then he goes out there and shoots the best score of the racetrack or the golf course or whatever sport it might be. You go on the basketball court, I only play once a week. You know, I'm just a pretty good shooter, and he'll drop 40 on you. And I think that's the mindset of this 90 truck. He doesn't want to give his cards away. He doesn't want to give his strategy out. He doesn't want to be too cocky there inside of that cockpit of the 90 truck right here. He knows he's fast. We've seen it here tonight. We saw it at Daytona as well. He's going to lead the pack there to the drop of the green flag. And it's a little hard to say he's a top 10 truck as he's going to lead the way here to the drop.
Yeah, Hutchinson's going to wait for that pace truck to make that hard left turn down pit road. He's going to wait for the Geico restart zone. He's going to get a much better restart this time. He finally figured out how that Geico restart zone works, and he is off like a rocket, clear of Travis Burtzer.
Oh, yeah, and you see that wonderful move to try to get in the middle of those two lines to block them as best as you can. As Matthew Hutchinson and that 90 truck's going to take us down.
Oh, Hamilton hits Riley. Riley's around. Oh, he saved it. But the caution is out.
We made contact with the 69 of Tim Hammond right here as well. Oh, man.
The yellow was out for a solid corner, and Wiley and Hammond just kind of kept wrecking. I'm kind of confused with what happened there, Will.
You see it right here. You see the 69 of Tim Hammond, and you see
yellow is out at this point. I'm fairly positive. Yep, the yellow is out right. The green light's still on. Yeah, there's the yellow. Yellow's there. So the yellow's out there. Hamilton gets loose. Then Wiley gets loose again.
Whoa.
Hits Hammond. Hammond hits Meza. A little bit of damage on the right from Meza, but he kept it straight, it looks like. Yeah, I guess they just decided to keep spinning.
Yeah, that's a little. If we could rewind that replay just a little bit to see what happened to Wiley there on the top side of the track. Because it looks like, I'm not sure if he got loose or he was trying to keep position when that yellow flag flew.
I think Hamilton dove underneath him, and I'm not sure if he kept coming down or if Hamilton dove up. It looks like Wiley kind of kept coming down. It looked like Hamilton had held the bottom.
And you see Wiley there in that zero. He's going to go high side on the racetrack. He's going to straighten it out right there. Yellow flag hasn't flown yet, and you see
it flies right there, though. It had flown by this point in time because different angle. We had known it had flown already.
Now, did he get loose again there, Tyler? Because it looked like he had straightened that thing out. Or was there damage on that truck that he was trying to maintain?
He may have the yellow's already out before they've looped it fully again, as you can see right there. He may have gone to the throttle before the truck had settled after the initial save, and that might have gotten the truck loose again. But definitely just an interesting incident there.
Very interesting indeed, and unfortunately it does encapsulate the 69 truck of Tim Hammond right up there that we've seen top 15, top 10 speed out of all night long here. And he's really going to get the worst of this there in that 69 truck. As you see, the zero of Wiley's going to take a little bit of damage.
Yep, here's an onboard with Wiley, and Wiley was still going towards the apex. You saw the yellow line disappearing more and more on that hood. Maybe he just didn't think Hamilton was down there, or maybe if Hamilton was going to back out. And yeah, it looks like it's settled. The wheel's pretty sturdy there, and then the truck's back around again. Yeah, I think he throttled up before he had truly settled the truck down. And you see him trying to save it again, and that's all she wrote. Tyler Thurman just barely avoiding contact there for that one truck.
What a crazy end, though, Tyler. What a crazy cap to a crazy night here at Pocono. At the Tricky Triangle, we came into this race thinking maybe it was going to be, in all honesty, a bit boring, but it has been far from that here tonight in the Sim Racer Hub Truck Series, brought to you by the Nazareth 360 Network. It's been crazy. We've had interchanging leads. We've had 3 wide, 4 wide battles. We've had multi-car incidents. We've had a bunch of guys retire out of the race due to damage. We had our leaders wreck at one point as well. I mean, we're creeping up towards the end of this race here at Pocono. I'm sure there's going to be some helmets flying. I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of a heated arguments down pit road even after this race here tonight. But what a race for week number 2 in this series. We couldn't ask for more from the hills of Pocono.
Yeah, especially a track that I think I at least thought was going to be more of a boring race. Has definitely produced a lot of excitement. Maybe we see the same thing next week at Texas, another track I'm a little bit concerned about going to. But, I mean, with the way that these guys race, they're super aggressive. I think we'll definitely be in for a treat in Texas.
Now, my question to you, Tyler, is we're still under caution here. We're about to go green here in just a little bit. What are some of the names other than our leaders here that you see maybe making a run here as we count these laps down that maybe might surprise us here at the end?
Oh, it just depends how the race kind of plays out. Bill Hale's there sitting in the 4th spot in that 53 machine. A little beat up on that left side, but he's been fast all night. I think you also maybe, if you're looking outside the top 10 at a driver who can get back in the top 10, Robert Richards has fallen down to 12th. I think he still has enough speed to get up there and compete in the top 10. Same with Christopher Blanchard. He's 11th. You know, he's been kind of struggling, but maybe he can get back up in that top 10. He has enough speed to do it tonight. But yeah, I think you're going to see more of the same. I think the guys in the top... I think someone in the top 7 is going to win this race. I don't think you're going to see anyone from the outside top 7 at this point, unless you see a big crash with the front 4 coming here late. I mean, we're going to have 13 laps to go and we go green, so right now those are the names I keep an eye on.
Yeah, right now, as that pace truck's going to take us along the last stretch of this course here of the Tricky Triangle. Again, Matthew Hutchinson is our race leader here. That 90 truck has quietly crept up the grid here tonight. We saw the speed at Daytona throughout all the speed weeks. Didn't get the finish that he wanted there at Daytona. But here tonight's going to lead this pack to the drop of the green flag with 13 laps to go here in week number 2 of the Sim Racer Hub Truck Series, as we're going to see this pace truck take that hard turn down pit road. We're going to go green flag racing here once again.
Green flag, green flag.
And Hutchinson gets an absolutely great start again. He's really figured out that restart zone now. He is going to be well clear of Travis Burtzer. Bill Hales is going to give a massive shove to the back of Burtzer. And Hamilton's going to get a big shove from Brady LaBeouf. Brady LaBeouf's going to try and look and get into that top 3 here in turn number 1.
Yeah, but you see how crazy it is heading down into that first corner. Those drivers start to bob and weave down that stretch. Feel like they have all the time in the world. You see how crazy it's going to get off that first corner. Nothing crazy right there as these drivers are starting to feel themselves right now. They know this race is ticking down. Looks like Brady LaBeouf's going to go for a position here on the second corner. Looks like he's going to go to the inside right there. Looks like he's going to have enough speed as they're almost touching doors there. Tyler's down the last straight. Oh, man, almost had another wreck there.
Another truck in the wall there. I can't tell the number of that, but we are now 3 wide. There's going to be contact there. Tyler Daniels is in the grass. He keeps it straight for the time being. Ray LaBeouf still sits in 4th behind Travis Burtzer. He's going to have a trunk full of Tyler Thurman there in 5th. And they're going to be fighting down this front straightaway as you see a bunch of drivers pushing here. And it looks like Thurman's going to try to give Brady the push around Burtzer. They're going to be side by side in turn number 1.
Yeah, they're door to door right now. Brady LaBeouf wants to get back up to the top of the grid right now with 12 laps to go. Looks like he doesn't have the speed, though, down the slender straight down into corner number 2. He's trying to keep pace all that he can. He's trying to push that 9 truck ahead right there, as he's just not going to have enough there on the second corner.
You do have a new leader, and that is Sean Hamilton in the 89 machine. Matthew Hutchinson has dropped down to 2nd. Travis Burtzer holds on the 3rd. Brady LaBeouf 4th. Tyler Thurman 5th. Bill Hales, though, all in the trunk of Tyler Thurman. And behind of that machine, you're going to have Brian Chu in that 51 still. Chu's had an up-and-down day, but he's still up front when it matters.
Yeah, great run out of Chew once again. We saw that at Daytona as we're starting to see a few trucks get out of line there. A little further back down that line, but I'm loving this beautiful shot down the front stretch right there. These shots are brought to you by Adam Flieger, our wonderful producer here tonight, bringing you all these wonderful camera angles, all these wonderful shots of these trucks. Shout out to him over there in the box. You're seeing these wonderful shots down the stretch, down the front stretch as well. We get a great look at how this race is panning out for these drivers. Now, Brady LeBoeuf is going to try for that third place position.
He had a massive run off of one. Burtzer blocked him into the one, so Brady had to go to the high side in the one. Thurman got underneath him, but Brady got such a big run, he's actually going to make the pass on Burtzer. Even though he didn't run the line he wanted to, it was actually the faster line. He gets into third. He's going to look for second here on Matthew Hutchinson and try to chase down the leader, Sean Hamilton.
Yeah, Brady LeBoeuf is eating up spots like Pac-Man eats up little yellow dots on the game board. He is trying for another one right now, has that number 90 Monster Energy truck inside of his grasp. He wants to go for it as quickly as possible. Knows that this race is ticking down with 10 laps to go. He has that 90 trucks draft as well as Hamilton. Looks like he's going to follow Hamilton around that 90. Going to have enough speed down there on the slanted straight as we head down to corner number 2.
Hamilton missed turn 1 completely, allowed 90 of Hutchinson to get behind him, and really allowed Brady LeBoeuf to get a great run on the two of them because they were side-by-side exiting. Burtzer's going to lose another spot to Tyler Thurman off of number 2. Bill Hale's looking to the outside of Burtzer here for that 5th position. Burtzer's really starting to fall back as Robert Richards there sitting in 7th is looking for another spot, trying to get another top 5 for him after winning this week. But for now, it is Hamilton up front, Brady LeBoeuf in 2nd, Matthew Hutchinson 3rd, 4th Tyler Thurman, 5th Bill Hales, 6th Burtzer, and 7th Robert Richards.
As we've settled out just a little bit at the top of the grid right now, we're single file racing as we might have a pass right there. No, as Robert Richards was trying to make a pass right there. He's going to get the door shut on him right there. No, he's going to go to the inside there. Down the slanted straight. Looks like he might have the position there as we're door-to-door racing. That looks like a battle for about the 6th or 7th position there down the grid. Robert Richards, though, down into corner number 2. Going to use that momentum right there to try to get around. Not going to be enough, though, as Robert Richards is now going to lose another spot on the racetrack with that race move.
Yeah, Richards trying to find new spots, and it's not working. Brady LeBoeuf, meanwhile, up front, trying to find new lanes as well to get by Hamilton. Almost cost him a position in 1 last time. He's going to come down the front straightaway in Hamilton's draft. We'll see what line he takes this time into 1. Company behind him, though, Hutchinson and Thurman are battling now. Thurman looks to the inside of Hutchinson as they enter number 1.
Yeah, Brady LeBoeuf has to watch out. He can't get comfortable behind Hamilton because now you see Thurman right there. And that 1 truck almost had the move there. The 9 truck of Brady LeBoeuf had to come down quick, fast, and in a hurry, throw that block. And the 1 saw it coming, had to file back up on the racetrack as we're single file. Down the slender straight, down into corner number 2. Looks like Thurman's going to try to make a move on Brady LeBoeuf. Man, where's that speed coming for that 1 truck? Because he is coming quick, fast, and in a hurry. He's going to make quick work of Brady LeBoeuf there if he can hold on. Although Brady's getting a big push from behind. It looks like it's going to be enough as Brady's able to hold on to that position coming around corner number 3.
Thurman will slot in a 3rd, though. He'll get by Hutchinson officially and clear him. Bill Hale sitting in 5th, maybe trying to pick up another spot. Brady LeBoeuf had a really poor exit off of 1. Thurman had a massive run, but because LeBoeuf had Hutchinson helping him off of 2 despite being on the outside, he was able to hold position, and he's still behind Hamilton. But he's got to find a different lane. He cannot run in Hamilton's tire tracks. It makes his truck too tight, and he has horrible exits. But this time, he's going to have a run. It looks like Hamilton slid off of 1. Brady LeBoeuf's going to look for a big run down this straightaway, but I don't think he's going to have enough necessarily into 2 for now.
And you see right there, I had mentioned this point earlier in this broadcast here tonight. Hamilton knew that Brady LeBoeuf was right on that back bumper. He doesn't want him there. He doesn't want him catching that draft. He doesn't want to keep him in position. And you'll see right here, if Hamilton does it here on this lower straight, doesn't do it here, but you saw it there, Tyler, down the slanted straight. Hamilton pulled out of line. He knew what by doing that, Brady could use a little bit of speed. We'll see it down the front stretch here. If Hamilton pulls out of line, doesn't look like he's going to do it here either. But down the slanted straight, you saw him pull out, try to break that draft that Brady's catching off that Hamilton.
I think also on top of that, not just breaking the draft, but also blocking the inside lane for Brady. Tyler Thurman's going to get to the bumper of Brady LeBoeuf there in 1. He can't make the move stick. He's going to get dirty air of LaBeouf. LaBeouf's going to try again on Hamilton, but not a good enough run off of one to make it work this time. Top 5 all holding serve for the time.
Yeah, what a wonderful shot that was as well. Down the slanted straight now as Brady LaBeouf is still trying to make a move on Hamilton at the top of the grid. But ladies and gentlemen, we got 6 laps to go here from the tricky triangle. We are live on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network right here. Week number 2. You see if Brady LaBeouf has enough coming off corner number 2.
Brady LaBeouf hit the wall early in this race, but he won stage number 2. He has a fast truck, but as we've known all night long, it is so hard to pass here. But he's going to look to the inside in turn number 1. He had enough of a run. He has the nose down there. Can he complete the pass? Hamilton looks like he's going to get a good run off of the exit, but can Brady clear him? Brady can clear him. No, he can't. He had a moment for a second, had that window, and he did not pull off the slide job. Hamilton's going to get a run down the backstretch. Who does Thurman go with?
Yeah, Thurman has to pick a dance partner. It looks like he's going to pick Brady LaBeouf, who's using a little bit of that Death Valley energy, a little bit of that LSU Tiger energy here right now. Brady LaBeouf there in that 9 machine, in that yellow and purple, in that white, rocking those school colors right there. He's going to overtake Hamilton with a huge move on corner number 3.
Lead change as we're going to get 4 to go this time by, but Hamilton's going to have a big run off of 1. LaBeouf's trying to break the draft. Hamilton goes to the outside. He's going to have Tyler Thurman in tow behind him, along with, I want to say Matthew Hutchinson and Bill Hales. Nothing else has changed regarding the top 5 except for the order of the first and second. They're side by side in 1. Brady's going to get clear. Hamilton's going to get tight, and that's how they're going to come off of 1.
Yeah, and a huge run from Brady coming off of 1 right there. Almost the fastest corner we've seen out of that 9 truck, though. As now Hamilton's kept pace. As now Brady's going to lose that draft. It's going to be enough, though, in corner number 2 to hold off Hamilton right there. And you're going to race it down now that last stretch of the course down into corner number 3. Hamilton's right there on that back bumper, though. Brady's just trying to hold on to the top spot as we come up for corner number 3.
Tyler Thurman's internet has unfortunately given way. We have lost Thurman, so right now it is Brady LaBeouf 1, Hamilton 2, Hutchinson 3, Hales 4, 5th is Travis Burtzer, and 5th is Travis Burtzer, and 6th is Robbie Richards. But right now it's a 2-truck battle up front.
Man, look at that follow the leader strategy that Brady LaBeouf is trying down the front stretch right there. Almost took him into the inside wall. He's trying to break that draft so hard, that 9 truck is, but still going to be our race leader down the slanted straight down into corner number 2 with less than 3 laps to go. Let's see if that LSU Tiger man can hold on to the win here tonight. He was the fastest car in practice, not the fastest car in qualifying, but here tonight he is showing that speed. He is showing why he is the boss man here in the Sim Racer Hub Truck Series. Coming off of corner number 2, still our race leader.
Contact back in the back of the field. Robert Richards involved. Hutchinson involved. Burtzer involved. Caution flag is out. We're going to have a green-white checkered here.
Oh my goodness, what a hard impact that was right up there. Robert Richards, who won last week at Daytona, is going to have his night just ruined completely here. Almost like you plan a picnic outside and it starts raining, your day is ruined. And we'll see it right there.
That wasn't Richards caught in the fence. That was Burtzer caught in the fence. Richards is actually still on track, but he may be getting an EOL for this move. It's tough to say. Bill Hale's getting a little loose there on the bottom. It's hard to tell what happened here. I can't tell. Did Hutchinson come down? They're still running. Yeah, Hutchinson may have came down. I don't necessarily put that on Robbie Richards. He is tight on that yellow line. And then you see Hutchinson hit Richards, and he's going to come up and Burtzer's day bang into the wall.
Oof. That's a hard impact into that wall there. Didn't even look like iRacing knew what to do with that. A hard impact that he took there. That car just got sandwiched in that top side of the wall. It looks like 3 trucks, though, sustained just a little bit of damage from that, Tyler. And some of the names that we've been calling out here tonight. Robert Richards won last week at Daytona. Matthew Hutchinson was really running really strong there on that 90 machine as well. You know, and you just see it right there. And it's Burtzer who gets the worst of it there, that hard impact to the top side. Man, it just gets very tight there on the corner.
I'll give you a better view. And yeah, it actually does look like Hutchinson came down based off of what we're seeing. If we're assuming Burtzer held his line, Hutchinson comes down, hits Richards, gets sideways. Burtzer goes to avoid, and Hutchinson hits Richards again, overcorrects, and Burtzer is a victim in all senses of the word.
Man, and these were top 10 positions these trucks were racing for, too. So for Burtzer, man, we've talked about it all broadcast long for a lot of these guys that are going to feel that disappointment after this race here tonight. You're not going to get the top 10 finish you were hoping for, even top 15. Your truck's going to be destroyed at the end of the night. It's just going to be a tough end for a lot of these guys here that showed the speed, showed the competitiveness here in week number 2. They're just going to have to pick up the pieces, pick up what they've learned from this race here tonight, going into week number 3, essentially empty-handed after an excellent run here tonight at Pocono.
Hutchinson did come over the radio and apologize for that, and unfortunately he's been given real well, so he'll be dropped to the back of the field. So let's reset the running order for everyone watching. Brady LaBeouf will be your leader for this green-white checker. Sean Hamilton sitting second. Bill Hales third. Robert Richards fourth. Brian Shute fifth. Michael Allen sitting sixth. Cody Sanderson seventh. Justin White eighth. Curtis Rogers in ninth. And Donnie Lyons rolling 10th for this final restart. Donnie Lyons involved in that big wreck earlier off of 1. Glad to see him work his way back up into the top 10 after qualifying second tonight.
Oof, what an ending we have on our hands here tonight, Tyler. Flashbacks of Daytona last week, the way this race is closing out here tonight at Pocono. And with a green-white checkered about to ensue, it's really anybody's race here. We saw the aggressiveness from Brady LaBeouf there. Clawed his way to the top of the grid, was trying every which way he could. Once he got up there to the top, he was blocking like crazy, trying to break that draft, blocking the inside lane. But now, Tyler, I think it comes down to is this restart here. Can you get the rocket restart that you've been doing all night long? Can you separate yourself? Can you block both lanes going down to corner number 1? If you can do that, if you can keep yourself in that clean air, I think you can wrap up the race victory here tonight at Pocono.
That being said, I mean, Hamilton has been competitive on these restarts, so I'm interested to see how these drivers handle coming down to turn 1. And is anyone going to work with Brady LaBeouf? That may be a concern. Obviously, he does have a familiar face in Robbie Richards in the 48 machine. Pretty sure those two are Mission 1 Esports teammates. Nope, no, they're not. Robbie Richards actually drives for... That's a loss in my notes, but important to note, Robbie Richards, Brute Force Motorsports, so Robbie Richards, not necessarily Brady LaBeouf's teammate, but they are two drivers who know each other quite well.
And you just see it with this shot right here of the field coming up here on the last corner. You see the type of race some of these drivers have had to battle through. You're seeing damage on our third place car right up there. You're seeing a lot more damage on the side of these trucks here tonight. You're seeing fenders busted in. You're seeing scrapes, tire marks. Whatever the case may be, it looks like the cleanest trucks out front. And although Brady did sustain some damage there to start the race here tonight, his truck looks pretty clean. Hamilton looks pretty clean there also in that second position. You know, like you said there early in the broadcast, it's essentially the survival of the fittest here tonight.
Yeah, Sean Hamilton trying to make up for some tough luck for HD Motorsports tonight, trying to get them the win here, but Brady LaBeouf's going to watch the iRacing pace truck pull off, go down pit road, and he's hoping we get at least to the white flag, goes to the Geico restart zone, and Brady LaBeouf is off. Not a great restart. Hamilton is quite there. LaBeouf will clear, but not by much.
And you see right there, that 9 truck coming down the front stretch there is going to go way to the top side of the track, try to break the draft of Hamilton right behind him. He knows that Hamilton's not going to give up as we come around corner number 1 to that little bit of a stretch right there, coming around to that slanted straight, down the slanted straight, down into corner number 2.
As they're running down that back straightaway, the 89 Sean Hamilton chase down the 9 of Brady LaBeouf. Robert Richards there in the 48, sitting in third. Brian Shute checks up big. Cody Sanderson dropping to the back. That's an interesting move right there. Robert Richards sitting third, still holding serve. Brady LaBeouf's just trying to get around turn 3 to get to that white flag one more time.
Yeah, all he needs is the white flag, and officially this race is official right there. As you see the 37 truck Raul Meza just trying to battle through this traffic right now. And you see this beautiful shot down the front stretch now as our leader's trying to do everything he can to hold on to that spot as Hamilton's trying to scratch his way up to the top of the grid, as well as Brady LaBeouf is our race leader down to corner number 1.
Richards looking to the inside, trying to get to Hamilton. Hamilton needs a good run off this corner if he wants to make a move at Brady LaBeouf here.
Right here on the final lap down the slanted straight, Brady LaBeouf is still our race leader, trying to hold off Hamilton for the top spot here, trying to be the winner here at the Tricky Triangle. Down the slanted straight, down to corner number 2, still Brady LaBeouf, our race leader, trying to hold off Hamilton for that top spot. Looks like he's going to have enough as we head down to the last corner.
Sean Hamilton, if he wants to make the move to win here, he's got to give it his all. Right now, though, it looks like he does not have enough. Brady LaBeouf's just got to hold a pretty wheel off of 3, and it looks like he will. Brady LaBeouf will win the Alpha-1 Awareness 200 here at Pocono.
Ooh, and we're having gumbo and victory lane here tonight as Brady LaBeouf is the winner here at Pocono, and what a run it was for him, Tyler. Man, that was an impressive stage 2, and to close out this thing, you saw the aggressive moves. He came from adversity with the damage on that 9 truck here tonight. Still scraped out a victory, and you saw what he did at the top of the grid as well, blocking both lanes, bobbing and weaving down the front stretch, did everything he could to secure the victory here at Pocono.
Yeah, and that was just an impressive driving there by Brady LaBeouf at the end. Just a competitive fight up front between Brady, Hamilton, Richards, Hales, and Michael Allen finishing 5th. So last week's 2nd place finishes 5th tonight. Important to note, 2 drivers actually did reach the incident limit tonight. Unfortunately, Donnie Lyons, our 2nd place qualifier, and Jonathan Wiley for Hoosier Daddy Motorsports both hit the DQ on the incident limits. But we're going to watch Brady LaBeouf burn it down here tonight at Pocono.
Yeah, and what a race it was for that 9 truck. He deserves to burn that thing down in victory here. The boss man here at Nazareth and the boss man here in the Sim Racer Hub Truck Series just going to burn it down with a big win here at the Tricky Triangle.
Yeah, and an impressive win at that. So we're just going to wait for Brady to enjoy his burnout as we watch that number 9 machine from Mission 1 Sports take the win. But we're going to kick off our podium interviews, and we're going to start those interviews off with 3rd place finisher Robbie Richards joining us in the booth. 3rd place, Robbie. You win last week. You finished 3rd this week. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better start to your season.
Oh, most certainly, yeah. It's a great start so far. Gaining momentum.
You know, Robbie, with Brute Force Motorsports tonight, you know, you guys tried, it seems like, some different strategy. Justin White was pretty competitive up there at times. How are you guys approaching this? Are you guys trying to, you know, work on strategies, work on lines? Are you guys practicing together? And what's the communication like with you all as a team right now?
I don't know. Mine's a little different since I've already got the win. I'm able to experiment a little more. I got the stage points I was looking for. And then, you know, having to win, I didn't really have to worry about playing anything safe per se. I have the flexibility to take a chance, while Nate and Doug don't. Justin got some damage. Nate got wrecked, you know, at the beginning for whatever reason, and then Doug got caught up in his mess that he got loose. He ended up spinning out. But you know, overall, I mean, we communicate pretty well. I let them know what I'm doing. I do reiterate that we got more flexibility than they do. I can take more chances. Doug did go with me, and it had played out right. It probably played in our favor. But caution came out right after we done it. It didn't work. But yeah, I mean, we all communicate pretty well, and we could get the finishes that the other 2 guys deserve. We could really be a strong force into the team standings, and but they'll figure it out and come back next week. And Nate's always good, Doug's good too, and then we'll continue from there. see what happens next week.
Yeah, well, Robbie, you mentioned that team component, and obviously Nate, pole sitter. Fortunately, it's not ended early, but before we let you go, Robbie, tonight, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Oh yeah, you guys up here, man. I want to thank you guys for doing sticking it out. I know Tyler. I know you like to race with us, so appreciate you doing that. For being up here in the booth, Brady, all the guys who put the league on. Don't have any sponsors, so I mean, thank Nate, Doug. Justin might not be a part of our team, but he's an affiliate, so we'll thank him for helping us out as much as he can. Go next week and see what we can do. See what we can do.
All right. Well, again, congrats on the third place finish, Robbie, and an excellent start to your season. And we'll look forward to seeing what you can pull off at Texas. But thanks for talking with us.
Appreciate it, guys.
And that was your third place finisher, Robbie Richards. Now going to be joined in the booth with our second place finisher, Sean Hamilton. Sean, you were up front a lot, especially late in that race. You led 8 laps, very competitive all night, it seemed, that 89 machine. What did you need to be able to make that move around Brady at the end?
Well, I think part of what happened was we got into a little incident with the 00 that brought out the caution. Front right side took a tiny bit of damage after that. And I also think that he was just so much better at his tire wear than I was. So it felt like he was getting me a little bit on the exits of the corner. But overall, still great night, great racing all around. I was happy to bring home some points for HD Motorsports. It was great seeing a few of our guys up front for a lot of that race.
Yeah, and I noticed that HD Motorsports had a lot of drivers up front. Unfortunately, it looked like some of your teammates had some rough luck, some tough stretches there. Unfortunately, I came to finishes they deserve. What's it like, being part of a league where there's a team component involved, and how is that communication right now working at HD Motorsports?
Well, I just recently joined this league. This is actually only my second official race in it. Met these guys in official races, and they've been nothing but supportive and great to work with so far. We try very much so to run a team mechanic. So when we're in the race with each other, we'll help give each other room, push each other past people, and just overall work with each other on a good strategy that helps the team over the individual.
Yeah, well, I mean, starting 25th, maybe not the best qualifying effort, but you really showed out in regards to the race. You were up front the rest of the night. But,
well, yep, I gotta say, the first time I drove Pocono was tonight for the first time in like 5 or 6 months. So yeah, I was feeling a little nervous and butterflies, but happy with the way we finished.
Yeah, well, before we let you go, Sean, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
I'd just like to thank HD Motorsports, specifically Adam Cantwell, who recruited me, the league for providing the opportunity, and you casters for providing an amazing show and letting us all go back and watch it while we were racing.
Well, hopefully this one was an entertaining one, and congrats again on the second place, and hopefully we'll be able to talk to you next week after another good finish.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Tyler.
Of course. Thank you, Sean. And now, the boss man, winner of tonight's Alpha-1 Awareness 200 at Pocono Raceway, Brady LaBeouf, getting it done, leading a race-high 32 laps, had the dominant truck for most of Stage 2, up front, or near the front for most of Stage 3, kind of fell back at times. What did you do on that last stop, or maybe how did you change your approach on that last run that got you to the front, got you to the win?
I think it was just a strategy, the way the cautions fell. It was kind of weird there. It was caution happy in that final stage, and I kind of thought that Robbie Richards would be in the best position because I was going to go pit. I want to say it was like lap 56, but I knew we couldn't make it. We was going to be about 4 or 5 laps short, maybe 3. But I thought Robbie was going to pit for 4 tires there, and then if he would have pitted 5 laps later just to top off his fuel, he would have been in the he would have had track position. So, but it kind of fell into me. It worked out, I guess, the way the strategy went all night long. So I was able to get up there and control the race.
Well, obviously, fastest in practice, or tied for fastest in open lower practice time. Not necessarily a qualifying effort you wanted, knowing you, Brady, but just seeing how that truck ran all day. How were you able to adjust your line? Because there were times where you had to go around the outside of turn 1, it seemed, to make a pass. So what was it like adjusting your line, dealing with the dirty air, especially at a track that is so difficult to pass, such as Pocono?
Yeah, it's very difficult to pass. You got to get the run off the corners to get the momentum going down the long straightaway so you can have position on the truck, whether it's inside or outside. I did find an outside line on turn 1 and a little bit of turn 3 to get a better run coming off the corner there. The last, I'd say, 10 laps. I really feel bad for Tyler Thurman. I thought me and him was going to have a great battle for the win. I feel bad that he had internet connections, but he was actually pushing me at one point, and it kind of forced me to go high in one. And I actually found a little line that gave me a bunch of momentum coming off that corner. So, but yeah, man, it just worked out, and I'm happy to get the victory for Mission One Esport.
And Mission One Esports' first win of the regular season here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series Alpha-1 Awareness 200. Obviously, an important cause for us here at SimRacerHub.com, but just an amazing run tonight, Brady. Is anyone else you'd like to think that makes us happy?
Yeah, of course, I'd like to thank my wife and my kids for letting me do this, and my sponsors, NRE Power Systems, Mission One Esports, all my teammates, Kyle, Justin, and Jason. He couldn't make it tonight, but we appreciate him coming on board and racing with us this week. Sim Racer Hub for coming on board, series sponsor, Pulse Poppers, sponsoring the Pole Award, and Nazareth 360 Racing Network. You guys do an awesome job, and I appreciate everything y'all do for us.
And we appreciate everything you've done for Nazareth, especially here at the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. And I'll see you actually on the virtual raceway at Talladega for Friday night in the Triple M Pulling Truck Series. So if you guys enjoy the action you're seeing tonight, obviously go give them a follow there in their playoffs. But again, an amazing race tonight. And thanks, Brady, and congrats again on the win.
Yes, thank you guys. Appreciate you.
Well, I mean, I feel like this race had its highs and its lows. We had pretty decent green flag run, and we had caution after caution at some point. What would you give the words to describe this race tonight?
Well, yeah, that's hard. It's trying to find the adjectives to describe what we saw here tonight. Let's just break it down in segments. Let's say first segment of the race, we saw a 4 or 5 car line really kind of play follow the leader a little bit. We had 2 of the leaders crash out, Gary Tribune, as well as I'm trying to think of the other truck up there, Nathan Maurer crash out in the 971. After that happened, though, you saw a lot more bunching up with the leaders. You saw a lot more 2 wide, 3 wide racing, a lot more aggressive racing. Stage number 2 completes. Brady LaBeouf wins stage number 2. You head down into the last stages of the race. Gets a little bit more aggressive. A lot more of these drivers are trying to press their lucks a little bit. We thought tires were going to be a strategy. We thought fuel were going to be a strategy. Didn't really come into play at all here tonight, Tyler. Pit stops did come into play, but I feel like with the timing of the cautions, the stage breaks, everything like that, I think everything got sorted out the way we kind of figured it was going to sort out here tonight. But really what I want to talk about is adversity. I think that's the word of the day here tonight. And a lot of these drivers fought through adversity. They had damage on their trucks, including our race winner, Brady LaBeouf, suffered damage earlier on in the race, was able to overcome that adversity here tonight, climb his way up through the grid. We saw him fade back again. He climbed back up through once again, made big moves on Hamilton, big blocks there on the restart, fought through the adversity once again, fighting off those guys behind him here tonight. What a well-deserved win it is for Brady LaBeouf there in that 9 truck. We saw him last week have a lot of speed at Daytona. Again, one of those trucks that get tangled up at the end of that race. But here tonight, it is the boss man himself in victory lane, and I cannot wait to see what these trucks have in store for us at Texas next week.
Yeah, and that's something I'm looking forward to as well. But also another thing to take away from this race is I think there's going to be a lot of rivalry starting to brew. A lot of guys are not happy with the way certain drivers race, especially early on in this race. We saw leaders wrecking each other on, I believe, lap 15. So interesting to see how some of these rivalries kind of take shape throughout the season and throughout the coming seasons here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. But once again, I'm Tyler Dittmer with my buddy Will Tiller in the booth, Adam Flieger, our producer, wishing you all a good night here from the Alpha-1 Awareness 200 at Pocono Raceway for the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. Again, have a great rest of your evening, and we'll see you all next week from the virtual Texas Motor Speedway.